Partners in Ekurhuleni Municipal Manager Kagiso Lerutla are facing Schedule 5 charges that include fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice following their arrests at the weekend. This relates to offences allegedly committed in 2019 when Lerutla had been arrested for speeding. The state alleged that the court appearance was on the same day as a job interview. He opted to attend the interview and the two orchestrated an elaborate identity switch in which a different person appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court on his behalf, this at a cost of 400,000 rand. The impersonator completed diversion documents using Lerutla's details. The state is expected to oppose bail. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
Suspended Citibank Police Commissioner Abraham Kwashu is the latest top cop to admit to attending parties at the infamous White House on the Hill, which is a boutique hotel in Northcliffe. The venue is known for being the preferred location for meetings between senior police officials and private individuals, allegedly to influence outcomes of criminal investigations. The White House has featured prominently at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, with at least two officers having testified that highly sensitive investigations were discussed in the presence of civilians. Testifying before the commission yesterday, Nkwashu said he has been to the White House several times, but it was strictly for social purposes.
The gatherings at the White House were ordinarily arranged by colleagues or our colleague, Major General Richard Shibiru, who appeared before this commission. Commissioners, to the best of my knowledge, the purpose of these social gatherings was very innocent and was very lawful, according to me. It was ordinarily to bring camaraderie, which is a friendship and a close relationship.
And Israel has killed 5 people, including a journalist, in Lebanon, despite an ongoing ceasefire. Ahead of the talks later today, Israel called for the Lebanese government to work together against Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. The two governments, which do not have diplomatic relations with each other, are set to hold a second round of talks brokered by the U.S. in order to end the more than 6 weeks of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah that began on March the 2nd. Lebanon will reportedly request a 1-month extension of the ceasefire during the meeting with Israel. Israeli attacks on Lebanon have killed at least 2,400 people since the start of the war in February, according to Lebanese authorities. Gold is trading at $4,706, 1 cent an ounce. The rand is at 16.54 to the dollar, 22.30 to the pound, 19.34 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $103.82 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Kelvin along the N3 South that happened near Marlborough Drive. Delays coming out of the Baklu interchange and traveling on the M1 South. Some delays approaching the Crown turn-off. Be on the lookout there.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 15 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Another corruption case is expected to be opened today against Social Development Minister Sisisi Tolashe over a donation of vehicles to the ANC Women's League that she allegedly redirected to her children.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to it. You're on 702. I'm Thabo Sholemashal. In for Madimeja, Clement Manyathela, who was standing in for Bongani Bingwa. And we're together till 12. Great having you with us. It's been quite a while, but I'm always happy to be here in your company, where we get to dissect issues, deliberate on various matters, and of course differ as we should every now and then. If we all agree, it means that one of us is not thinking. So I'm very much happy to take your dissenting views, your disagreements. We should debate matters, and I'm hoping that we will do that because this country is always riddled with a news cycle that is on steroids, so to speak. So there's never a dull moment, and I'm hoping that today we will touch on a number of issues that somehow affect your life directly and otherwise. We have an open line. As much as it's a different presenter today, the furniture stays the same. I never change that at all. Open line between 9 and 10 o'clock. And on the open line, I would like to profile a couple of ideas, if you will, some of mine, but I invite you to bring yours. Mine are just to get us going, so to speak, but yours must take central positioning in the bigger realm of things. You did see that story, I hope, about that young learner from Tembisa Secondary School. It is said that she's about to lose a hand as a result of being assaulted. And I say assaulted deliberately because she was punished. We used to call it jacks in our time when corporal punishment was still legal. And they were supposed to submit some work, and the learner didn't do that. As a result, the teacher decided to unleash venom on the learner and hit the learner with a stick on the hand so much that it is said that that learner's hand may be amputated. I do not know how true is that. And I was reading it in the newspaper. It's a story that we've been following. I've touched on it before. And it worries me greatly, and I'll tell you why. It may seem like just one of those and we shouldn't care about it. It's got nothing to do with Madlanga Commission, right? So we shouldn't care at all. We must just dismiss it and put it right to the back burner. It bothers me. That bothers me. Simply because these things are interlinked. Corporal punishment has been outlawed. I think I was in a grade, it was not grades at the time, it was standards. I was in standard 6 at the time when it was outlawed. And but teachers are still doing this. And let me tell you why. You might want to take me to the Human Rights Commission. We'll come to that point about the directives soon after this. But the real point is that this mainly happens in township schools and rural schools. Dare I be bold? In black schools. Am I the only one who sees something wrong with that? I could be. And I suppose that will make me extremely unpopular. That is fine. I've never been in it for popularity. But it bothers me. It's happening mainly in township schools, urban, in rural schools and peri-urban areas as such, but mainly in black schools. I say that boldly because I've seen it happening many times. I would be driving in the townships and the teacher would be holding a cane, kids coming late and they're getting some whipping and they're going in. That is outlawed. That is not okay. That is against the law. You cannot be doing that. That is assault. And the very same teachers, when you take them to the ex-Model C schools or you take them to St. Stephen's, they become the best teachers ever without having to use a stick, without having to use corporal punishment. They become the best performers. They do this to kids whose parents belong in the lower rung of the economic ladder because they know that there won't be any consequences to the effect. And if they are, they will be able to subvert them. So that's exactly what is happening. The poorest of the poor being taken advantage of, not enjoying the fruits of democracy, part of which is kids not being beaten up at school simply because they're poor, they're in the townships, they're in the rural areas, and whatever happens, they must just be thankful that they go to school. And the teachers should do to them as they please because school is free anyway, right? So you must just get there, shut up and do your job, even if you are beaten up. This is so wrong. It predominantly happens in black schools. Predominantly. I must say, predominantly. And I have seen it. Perhaps that's just my experience in my limited world. Maybe it happens in other schools as well, but that is still wrong. I do not want that. I hate that with everything that I am, because it cannot be that you are teaching kids to resolve conflict or disputes through violence. That is violence. And we are wondering why there's so much bullying, there's so much beating up, killing each other on the roads and whatever, because you have taught these people in school that this is how you resolve disputes, through violence. And we are all shocked when people shoot each other on the roads. Right? Oh, what happened? Well, that's how we are socialized. It cannot be. And I promise you, nothing is happening to the teacher right now. I can assure you, like I did previously, that the teacher, chances are, as we are speaking, they may be in school right now at Tembisa Secondary School. Chances are. So that's one of the issues I'd like to put on the table there. You did also see about the Human Rights Commission, right? It said that I was watching this story. I was listening very attentively when this story broke yesterday, that the SA Human Rights Commission directives aimed at securing appropriate redress where human rights have been violated are not legally binding, but rather recommendations. This is according to the Constitutional Court ruling yesterday. I find this extremely unfortunate, and I'm not fighting with the justices. They know far better than I would on any other day about the law. They are smart, and we must respect the outcomes of those institutions completely. I am merely asserting a view that it is an unfortunate day on many accounts, because the South African Human Rights Commission, however much we may want to criticize them, they deal with various baskets of issues. One of those have got to do with service delivery matters. You would know that electricity, water, refuse, removal, and so some people who do not have deep pockets to approach the courts would then opt to go to the SA Human Rights Commission to complain and register their frustrations against authorities who are not treating them well through the Human Rights Commission, because they know that they don't have to pay a cent and their issues may get some attention on a service delivery level mainly. The other basket would be on matters that I would deem as dignity issues, where racism, sexism, you felt degraded, and so on. It's easier for you to go to the SA Human Rights Commission, and more affordable to do so, as opposed to getting a lawyer, paying huge sums of money. The case is there for years, and you don't get the necessary redress that you want, because it's become an inconvenience on you more than anything else. And I have, in the past, approached the South African Human Rights Commission about a matter in Pretoria. I was just literally, it was random. I'm walking into this big store, and as I was walking in, there are these two kids, and I'll mention color because it's the context. The black and white students, they apparently friends walking out, and the security decided only to grab the black learner's bag and search. And I observed this. I went to him and I said, "Why are you doing this? Why are you not searching them both?" And he says, these people are like that. And it just got me off. And I fought with everyone in the shop. I didn't even get what I wanted to get. I was late for my meeting. I don't live in Pretoria. I was just there for a meeting. And I took the thing into SA Human Rights Commission. The point I'm making is that it's got some sort of redress. You get some sort of redress, and you are hoping for some consequences. You have taken the matter up with a Chapter 9 institution, and it is better than going to a lawyer. And I think the ramifications of this ruling, right as it may be, if Parliament doesn't jump in quickly and sort out the law aspect of this, the legislative aspect of this, the ruling has got serious, dire consequences, in my humble and very limited view. It may, but I thought we may want to debate that on the show today as part of the open line. And lastly, Takaka, excuse me, Tucker Carlson. He was an anchorman in the U.S. With Fox for some time. He was a presenter at Fox for a long time, and he was vociferous in his support for Trump and everything else that is conservative. You'd remember he took a stance against South Africa and said there was a genocide in South Africa. That's just what it is. And he was a big Trump supporter. And a few days ago, he apologized. Him and his brother, as I was chatting to Clement, he apologized for supporting Trump. And he said, this is because of us, him and millions of other Americans. And he was pointing at where America is today. Regressive, as far as policy is concerned, on a number of fronts, not just the war, because the war is just one but excuse of all of this. So he was almost repentant. And whether we believe him or not, it's another thing. But he was saying, it's our fault. It's my vote. It's my support that brought us here. So I want to ask you, given how you voted in 2024, do you regret voting the way that you did? And are you bold enough to apologize? Maybe not to us on the radio. I'd love to hear from you, of course. But to the people around you and say, this is what I voted for. And it's my fault. I didn't know better. I thought I was doing the right thing then, but I regret it. And by the way, it's not only against the ANC. It's easy to say that against. It could be against other parties that you voted for that are not in government. And seeing their performance post the elections, you may think that I wasted my vote on IFP, on BOSA, on PAC, on I shouldn't have. Knowing what I know now about the EFF, I shouldn't have. It doesn't have to do with the ruling party only. But I'm just thinking, are you bold enough, as much as we are calling out politicians, as much as we are first to call them corrupt, that, are you bold enough to call yourself out and say, I regret voting the way that I did. I was wrong. It's my fault that we are here, that this party is doing this. I emboldened them with my vote. This is what Tucker Carlson actually had to say.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like, in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Are you like Tucker Carlson? Bold, brave enough to come through and say, I voted this way and I shouldn't have? Could be that you voted Freedom Front Plus and you're thinking now they're in government, I shouldn't have. Or any other party, by the way. I'm not picking on one. So feel free to call us. That would be the open line between 9 and 10. And at 10 o'clock, we'll be hanging out with Ephraim Minguani, founder and creative director at FMO, South Africa's iconic men's wear label. He's been in the business for long. It's going to be a great chat. He's a fashionista of note. He understands how the clothing thing and fashion and style and all of that goes. But generally, he's just been a grain of the South African cultural space. We're going to have a fantastic discussion with Ephraim Minguani between 10 and 11. The dialogue between 11 and 12 o'clock. Does charging public officials for PFMA violations create a culture of fear of accountability? You know that Fanima Semola was charged and he appeared in court for contravening PFMA and Public Finance Management Act. You'd remember that he had contravened it. He's charged for contravening it. And there are many other accounting officers as per the PFMA who contravened the act and have not seen light of day as far as accountability is concerned. We want to dive deep into the PFMA, understand it clearly, what the implications are, and understand what this means for premiers, for director generals, and for all accounting officers, especially at municipal level. Can they just say, I didn't know all of that was taking place, as we've seen? and we'll have a word with Dr. Sam Koma, Tebogo Khas, and Andy Mashaile. It's 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. Abel, the show has officially begun.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
011-883-0702. I'd love to hear from you. 011-883-0702. Alternatively, please feel free to send me a text or a voice note to 072-702-1702. On my socials, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now called X, at I am free TSM, Facebook, Thabo Sholomashao, at Radio 702, please make sure that you take that as well. Other than that, let's have a conversation. You've been holding for long. Let's go straight into it. Matume, we are kicking off with you. You are in Palaboro. Hi, morning.
Hi, morning. How are you?
I'm free. How are you, Matume?
I'm fine. No, I actually wanted to speak about something that you started your discussion with regards to the corporal punishment in townships. And then you made an issue to say the same teachers, when they administer this in the township and rurals, and when they get appointed in some affluent schools, they don't do it. And my point is that corporal punishment, yes, it is outlawed, and we all agree. However, I don't think teachers do it just for I would say, them enjoying it. Sometimes, yes, they lack other methods of trying to discipline learners. But it has become one of the discipline matters that has been, many parents can agree that even some of us who went through it in the 90s, we look back and say, yeah, but it somehow it assisted us because we were really out of the way. So I wanted to just say that, yes, teachers need to find new ways of disciplining learners. I mean, I'm my former teacher myself. I taught in high schools when I was starting to teach. And we had teachers that were doing it. Others were afraid because of issues of consequences of losing your job. But somehow especially with the issues of social factors that affect rural and township schools, where you find the parents are not always available, and learners are staying with their grandparents, and then they are in that age 14 to 17, those crazy age, they do as they wish. Sometimes
Madome, I've given you a chance, and I think let me jump in a little bit before I say goodbye to you. One, it's not legal. Let's start there. Despite what you and I may think, that's just the premise, whatever we think about it, it's outlawed. It shouldn't be. The law doesn't allow for that. So we can't have any excuses around that. But two, we didn't turn out okay, Madome. You and I went through that, but we didn't turn out okay. We still have underlying issues within us. And that's why crime is so high. That's why violence is so high. We didn't. I hear a lot of people, we went through that, but look at us. We didn't. We are not okay. That's why our society is the way it is. Maybe you and I manage it better, but it is internally manifesting itself. It could be in our relationships, by a way of being aggressive, how we relate to our children, our friends, people around us. It is just not okay for a human being to hit another human being because they disagree with them on one issue or the other. It's just not okay. And lastly, yes, if really it's such a great remedy, why don't they do it in those affluent schools? The very same teachers who do it in township schools. Why don't they do it? My dad was a teacher in high school. Last week I was in the townships and we had some great fun with some of his former pupils, and they were telling me how he used to beat them up with a stick and whip them and whatever. And there were some of his colleagues who were there, and they were saying, and they were proud, former teachers, they were saying, hey, we used to hit those kids, man. It's wrong, Matume. It is wrong. There is nothing right about that. We should not justify it. There is nothing right. We didn't turn out okay.
I'm not going to disagree with some because it's illegal. But what I'm trying to say is that no teacher go to school and say, I want to lose my job by doing this. and they just need to find a way. We maybe encourage them to find other alternative ways to do it. I don't.
And it's been decades. It's been outlawed in years. They should have found a way, not today. Don't wait for a child, this to happen to a child and say, we must find other ways. We should have. Matome, I think I've given you enough chance. Let's give others a chance before I jump into news. Ne? Thank you so much. I really appreciate your call. Who is next? Peto in Tembisa. Peto, hi.
Good morning, Tabo. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Morning, my brother. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
So I'm a former learner of Tembisa High School. So I matriculated in 2019. So you know what, Tabo, at that school, we were beaten to the punch. There's the children's building there called library. If you go there, you know that you're going to be honored. Our friends were 1 year grade up than us, right? So they went there before I went there.
Yeah.
They told us about library.
Yeah.
So you know, naughty boys from neighborhood, we went there, we were playing spinning, and it was not allowed at school. So they caught us. They took us to the library. So you know what, we moved with the Shambok. There was one teacher, I won't mention his name.
Yeah.
When he was moving
your language is also not helping me, man. You want to get me fired with that language, ne?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
But you know what, when that man, he was teaching us, he was stamping. You know, every day he was teaching us with a pen belt.
Sure.
There he beat our buttocks or our hands. So, you know what, this was bound to happen.
Yeah, because it's administered by human beings and emotions are involved where human beings are involved. And you might find that this teacher is going through a lot at home and they come back and they come to school and take it out on you. So there is no way it could be fine. Hassan, I want to come to talk to you. I see the issue that you want to raise. Please, I need to take the news headlines. I'm praying that you are patient enough to hold on up until the headlines are done, Hassan. I want to explore this issue with you because I also know that you are cerebral about these issues of human rights. So please hang tight for me. It's exactly 9:30. Time for Eyewitness News headlines with Sfiso Zulu. Good morning. Welcome, Sfiso.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. 3 suspects in KwaZulu-Natal have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping and murder of 7 family members. Police say the victims were allegedly snatched from their house after it was broken into and their vehicle was found missing. The bodies of 4 women and 3 men were found this morning dumped at a field. Public Works Minister Dean McPherson says he's satisfied with the progress made by the Independent Development Trust to shake off the perception that it is a corruption hub. This after its former CEO, Tebogo Malaka, resigned last August under a cloud of corruption and bribery allegations. Yesterday, officials told Parliament's Portfolio Committee that it's slowly starting to regain credibility in the market with projects worth 6.5 billion rand lined up for the financial year. And the prosecution in the trial of alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak says evidence brought in defense of the accused so far has been irrelevant. Modak, who faces 122 charges related to allegedly operating a criminal enterprise, called 3 witnesses to testify in his defense over the past 2 weeks. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, travelling in Bedfordview, we've got delays along the N12 West, that's between Edenville Road and the Kiluli's interchange. There's also slow-moving traffic along the M2 West between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road. While travelling in Sharon Lee, queuing traffic on Malibongwe Drive. This is between Bellas Drive and the N1. And if you're heading towards Fourways, do expect heavy traffic volumes. This is along Witkoppen Road, approaching Leslie. Please be on the lookout there. In the city of Tshwane, we've got delays along the N14 North coming out of Euphius Road towards the CBD, so please be on the lookout there and try using the N1 North or even the R55 instead. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings.
4 to 6.
That energy availability factor is hovering at about 65%, which is, yes, an improvement on a year ago, certainly 3 years ago. But is 65% the best we can do?
They mentioned that 65%, and they also say, it's gone about 70%, 68 times. We're doing very well. But then looking at the data, preparing for this interview, I saw it's currently at 58.4% for the last week. And the last time that it was at 58.4% was April last year. It's been above that continuously since then.
Matthew Cruz, following that ESCOM briefing yesterday, is an energy expert at Empower.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
702 family, we value what you think and we want to hear it face to face. This Thursday and Friday, we are opening our studio doors to 702 lenders who'd like to share their thoughts on the station. Your feedback, your ideas, it all matters to us, very much so, by the way. Everyone who comes through will get a full studio tour, see where the magic happens, and you can just wave at some of the presenters and everyone else here around us. If you'd like to join us, send an email to contact@702.co.za. That's contact@702.co.za.
Aziz Shege, be in the game. Show your love for D-Ski with Hollywood Bets. We're taking the soccer season to new heights. You could win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Hilux double cab or Toyota Starlet Cross. All you have to do is bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture online or at your nearest branch. Bet now and strike for glory. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Moving to a bigger office space can be expensive. Thanks to My Way Business Insurance, I get to save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month. Plus, I get My Business Assist, which helps me with marketing, legal, and admin services. Saving money while growing my business is a great win for me.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and save up to 20% on your monthly premiums. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 today for a quote. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
If you're looking to unlock your creative music potential, electronic music production, a short course at Academy of Sound Engineering is the course for you. This is your next step to discovering all you have to offer musically, at least in the electronic sense. We're talking song structure, composition, remixing. Oh, let's not forget mixing to begin with, right? That's 2 evenings a week over 12 weeks. Visit us on asc.co.za and get your application started today.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
24 minutes to 10 o'clock. Welcome back. You're on 702. Great having you with us. And this is an open line. Thabo Sholemashao in for Clement Manyathela. We're together till 12. On the open line, we discuss anything but anything under the sun. Issues that you'd like to bring up and the ones that I have, but don't confine yourself to those. There could be a myriad of issues that you want to put on the table for us to inspect closely. You are most welcome to do that. And let's go straight to the calls. And a number of you have been holding from 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702, and then I'll go to your voice note as well. Let's go straight to Hassan Logat. Hassan in Auckland Park. Hassan, hi, welcome. Morning.
Hi, Thabo. Today, your bouquet you offered, I could speak on all of them. I used to work at the Teachers Union.
Yeah.
I'm so interested in what Carlton is doing because I think as a media activist, they are saying things that we could never say because we'd be accused of being against capitalism, against Jewish people, etc., etc. And these guys say it. They say it is make Israel great again, not make America great again. But I called really about the Human Rights Commission. Less than a year ago, we were protesting outside alongside Abahlali Basumjondolo, Kopanang against xenophobia, and various groups defending the Seri against Operation Dudula. But their poster, Dudula's poster was very interesting. They were organizing a march on the 17th of July, I think, saying, "You are not South Africans. Unpatriotic NGOs and Chapter 9 institutions must fall." And they mentioned the Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
And at that time, I penned an article to say that the Human Rights Commission has a broad mandate, ever increasing, but they were under-resourced. They were subject to austerity measures by our very government. So the problems with the Human Rights Commission is that more and more people are seeing its value, and the government is not seeing it, and it left them now out to make their sterling work mere recommendations. And that is a problem. That is a problem for people like us who work with mine-impacted communities, where there's no easy redress measures.
Yeah.
We have to go to the Human Rights Commission, and they are now cutting these guys off. Now companies can actually choose not to go and give evidence.
Or they would be emboldened, Hassan, to a point where
they could wait it out.
Yeah, and then they're arrogant and they say, cool, let's go through all this rigmarole of events and then let's see what turns out at the end. Whatever directive is given, and they say, great, we don't have to do it. Thanks very much.
But Thabo, there is a way out. There is a way out. I attended Dr. Tlaleng and HPCSA's portfolio committee about 2.5 weeks ago. I was amazed at the spirit of Madlanga that's impacting upon portfolio committees. We sat for 6 hours listening in our citizens, and I think that wakening up this power, realizing that these bodies, Chapter 9, that are called institutions to support democracy. Right? And so what I think we need to do, you're doing an amazing job today to keep this up. Let's amplify it, because I think the politicians have to step in, but they should also do their work. They can't just come in
and they
when
work,
there's a crisis.
their work includes crafting or changing legislation to give
That's
the
right.
Human Rights Commission at least some bit of wings to fly and teeth to bite a bit harder, so that the directives are binding. And even if you take a corporation or a government entity to the Human Rights Commission, they must know that there would be some serious accountability to be adhered to. Hassan, always a pleasure talking to you. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Hassan Logat, you'd know him if you have been following current affairs, that he's an activist of note. Lintikile in Centurion. Morning.
Morning. Thabo, this morning I just want to take you up a little bit.
I'm listening.
I'm serving on a SGB in a school. And every time when we are called for a discipline, people who are being disciplined, it's a black child. And I will tell you why. Because a black child have learned that ill discipline does not have consequences. I remember when we were in school, yes, we were disciplined with corporal punishment, but, Thabo, let's tell the truth. We are where we are today because we were disciplined. Otherwise, me and you, we will not be here. We will be in a different place. Somebody will be sitting where you are sitting now. So it took teachers who had love to discipline us, to show us the way. Even today, I'm still a friend with those teachers. Some of them are retired, and I see them. I'm filled with love because I know how much they took me out of ill discipline.
Yeah.
So we have to be to tell ourselves the truth. Yes, it is law that corporal punishment is illegal, but we have to tell the truth.
Yeah,
Only
let me
one
tell
side
you
of
the truth. Let me tell you the truth as well. This argument comes up every now and then where people are saying, corporal punishment, look at us now, we've turned out okay, and we came as a result. I'll tell you the truth. From the people that I went to school with, same class, many of them for 8 years, from preschool to standard 5. I'm using the 80s language, and I'm sure I'll be corrected that it's grade whatever. So from preschool to standard 5. Only a handful, I mean only a handful out of those 40 learners that we have somehow managed to steer clear of trouble, as we may call it. And I'm being euphemistic so that I do not use judgmental language. I have no right to do that. Actually, and without mentioning names, we buried one of the learners who used to sit with me, actually, at the same desk for some years. He went on to be an armed robber. He stabbed people and whatever else, and we buried him a few weeks ago. I won't mention his name. And so on. I can tell you 10 other stories. And I remember how he was beaten up. More than us, by the way. He would get proper hiding. Proper hiding. But it didn't have any effect on that. So I'm saying we must challenge ourselves, Lintikile, and ask, are there better ways of instilling discipline and contributing to a formation of a young child so that they turn out to be a holistically proper citizen? We must find that is violence. You can't use violence in school. In your house, do as you please. I don't know. I'm not qualified to do that. I'm talking about school, the classroom, where some of our kids go because we raise children differently. I'm talking specifically about school. So in your house, I don't know.
Yeah. Can I just...
Yeah, lastly, yeah.
Lastly, just... The truth is, children today, they've got no bright future because government took away the right from parents to discipline children at home. The government has taken the right away from the teachers to discipline children at school. Children know that ill discipline has no consequences.
How did the government do that at home?
By the law. By the law. I mean, the law. I've got 2 children.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in the SGB. I don't beat my children. I don't. But sometimes I feel like, you know what? I wish I can take out the belt and just teach you a lesson. I don't do it. But I wish government could have given the teacher that right, because teachers are suffering in school.
No, but you see, no government says you can't instill discipline at home, and discipline is not only the belt. The government didn't say that. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything where the government says you should not discipline your kids at home. Kids respond to various forms of discipline. You could be taking away their privileges. You could be, stopping them from going to see their friends or whatever else. That's not the only way I'm arguing. But Lintikile, I think you've made your point. Let me squeeze in 268 other calls that are coming in and go to the voice messages quickly. Langa, you are in Pretoria. Morning.
Good morning, Tabo. Great show.
Thank you, sir.
And I just want to, speaking of the subject of corporal punishment, I just want to weigh in. There's a very painful story just to alert you. There's a learner at Daspo Secondary School, a grade 12 learner who committed suicide last Friday. It is because he was bullied by the teacher. I don't know if EWN is aware of the story, but I've seen that Caxton and other news outlets are running with the story. But it's a very painful story because, when I read it, it looks like this particular learner was attempting to correct the teacher. It's a mathematics teacher.
Oh, yes.
And
I remember the story. I remember the story very well.
Yeah, he was whisked out of the class, and then he went to the principal's office to complain that this is the situation. The teacher is now chasing me out of the class because I was just attempting to correct him. So now the principal was busy at the time, just to be very quick, and then he was then sent back to the class. And then now the story, just to cut it short, it just, I think it occurred on the 13th of April, but this particular learner certainly committed suicide last week, Friday. So now, what transpired ever since is that the learner went back to the principal's office along with the teacher, and the teacher was now saying, no, this particular learner brought the cell phone in class. and now he was now forced to now hand it over, and then he refused. It's just a painful story. I just wanted to get
Langa,
very painful.
Let me give you a chance to wrap up quickly. I must go to take a break. I must take a break very soon. So do you want to wrap it up, and then I'll respond?
I just wanted to just quickly highlight
that.
Basically, I think EWN will just get on to the story.
Sure. And to how far this may go if we do not actually deal with it and nip it in the bud, it can go far. I mean, where Elena commits suicide because of this. And there are long-lasting psychological effects due to corporal punishment being administered on children. Langa, thanks for bringing it up. I'd love to follow up on that. It's a very sensitive story. Sister Eunice, I'm going to come with you. I also have 4,827 WhatsApp text and voice notes that I must go through. I'm exaggerating, of course, when I say that. 12 minutes to 10.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
My show is about getting you informed by the time you get to the office, your place of business, or wherever you need to go. Hopefully, you have a fairly good idea what's happening in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, and around the world. We want you to be part of those water cooler conversations, and you will be part of those conversations because you'll be a better informed citizen. What I like about the 702 family and 702 land is the ecosystem that we have built, the community. It's all about connection because we may be different, but ultimately the people you talk to and the people you hear are facing issues just like you.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m.
New from the House of Citroën.
So stylish.
470-litre boot space. I need it.
Keyless entry, so chic.
Cruise control. Oh, bonjour.
4-year or 60,000 kilometer service plan? Oui.
The stylish, all-new Citroën Basalt is here. You want a piece of it. Starting from 354,900 Rand. Register now for limited deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Visit citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
No one gets fit overnight. It takes discipline, and your money is no different. A Nedbank 32-day notice account helps you build financial strength with up to 7.3% interest and zero maintenance fees. The higher the deposit, the higher the return. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. For more information, go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
9 minutes to 10 o'clock, open line. Abel, let's go straight to the voice notes. I have been ignoring them. And so let's make sure that everyone else is heard in that regard. They would have come through on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, sir. I am so sorry about what we are saying. I'm working for the department and then I'm in charge of schools. It also happens in white schools. That's the correction I want to make.
Good morning, Tabo. This is Kabela from Pretoria. You as Tabo Shole Mashao can decide what's best for your children, how to raise them. But you can't decide for all of us. So you raise them the way you want to, then everybody else must decide how they want to raise their children. So you can't be instructive and tell people how should they, what's good for their children.
Hi, Clementine team. Clement, I'm one of those people who regretted big time that I voted for ANC. You know, when I look at what's going on, it hurts me so bad to think that, you know what, all we wanted a better country, but look where is it taking us to. You know, and what ANC is doing, it's the clerk, there's a statement of him that the clerk was saying the black men will never be able to rule a country. Give a black man a gun, they will shoot amongst each other, And to be honest, Clement, those things are happening. Those things are happening. It's happening, regardless of the race or who said it, but it was said, and it's what's happening. It's the same thing with this of Julius Malema. I would never vote for that party. I would never. That will be the biggest mistake. I made the biggest mistake voting for ANC, but I think my mistake will be even bigger if I have to vote for EFF.
Morning, Tibos. Human Rights Commission. One useless commission for South African people. Those people, they don't care about South Africans. They are there for foreigners. I tell you now, if that child from Tembisa who got punished until that severely, if that child was a foreigner, I'm telling you now, you'd be having papers, courts, everything flying all over. So that commission, it's not for South Africans. We have many problems in South Africa. They are nowhere to be found. They are no show.
011-883-0702. And the last voice note refers to South African Human Rights Commission because their directives cannot be binding as per the Constitutional Court ruling yesterday. And if they were to be binding, one would have to take it to a court of law for that to happen. And the other voice note mentioned that I'm telling people what to do. I'm instructive. I'm not instructive. I'm just repeating what the law says. It's not me. It's not my law. I agree with it, of course. But we are not saying, I'm not telling you how to raise your children inside your own home and in the confines of your house. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if they're at school, it's not just your child. It's other people's kids as well. And so the rules must be, there should be no corporal punishment, especially in schools that seem to be on the lower rung of the economy, because that's where exploitation takes place. Someone did say it happens in other schools, in white schools. Tell me which ones. Please feel free to tell me which ones, because I can tell you which schools that this is happening in, and I'm confident I can take you there. Well, the Sowetan has done half the job for me. Tembisa Secondary School, it's happening, and many others. So feel free to tell me where. And I'm sensitive to that because it is self-hate. That's what it is. Put bluntly, it is self-hate. You wouldn't do that to anyone else, but you do it to us because now we can't run anywhere. We can't go anywhere. We won't have any recourse. So that's why. Sister, you are in Parktown. Welcome. Hi.
Hi, Tabo. You only have 5 minutes to take 264 calls. So let me be quick.
Let's see how it will go. Yeah.
Let me be quick.
You got me there. You got me.
Tabo, look, I think we need to really call out the department. Corporal punishment cannot be condoned in any way or form. It's illegal. We know that. But when you change things or you bring up new rules, you need to put measures in place. In these schools that you're talking about, the townships, not just even in the townships, even in the urban areas where there's these quintile 1 schools and quintile 2s where they don't pay school fees, right? The kids are not treated well because there isn't any intervention. When you find a child as an educator, you have a classroom with 50 learners and there's 5, 6 kids who are unruly. You don't even have the mental capacity to deal with it. You don't even know the psychological capacity to deal with it. You don't know what to do. And whereas in the other schools, you can send a child to a psychologist so that we can find out what is the problem with this child. Why would the child behave so unruly, uncontrollably almost every day, right? So there are measures in place. So I think we need, whatever we say, as much as we educators need to take responsibility, but we must always bear in mind that they also come from a system where corporal punishment was the only solution, right? For them as learners.
Right.
Now, what measures have been put in place for them to relearn what they learned? But also, how do we assist these learners because these learners are going through hell at home, and then they come to school, then they are venting out, they're showing,
they're acting out all the frustrations. Yeah,
Thank you for
sister,
the
I have to leave it at that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I have to. Yeah, I have 256 calls. Eunice, please keep it brief. Good morning. Go ahead. Eunice.
Hello.
Morning.
Yeah, hi there, Tabo.
Morning. It's your
Tabo, hi
time.
there. Yeah, look, this Houghton Golf Club. Instead of shooting a hole in one, it seems like they've got the knickers in a knot here. Regarding this banning of Louis Seco for displaying a Palestinian flag. Now, yesterday you had the EFF demonstrating there. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you've got the ANC who's demonstrating there. What I can't understand is I've read a press statement out from the Houghton Golf Club. It's very, very vague. And, the thing is, they say that they don't want any political, flags or anything there. But yearly, this Houghton Golf Club, from what I've been reading, they have a Maccabi Golf Club Day. So the Maccabi Golf Club Day is linked to the Israeli Maccabi Golf Club. So how then do you explain that they explain that they're not, they're apolitical?
It's this elitism that we don't deal with decisively that leads to these things. Well captured, Eunice. 2 minutes to 10 o'clock.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, 702 family. My name is David Khasao. I'm from Naturena, Soweto. I've been listening to 702 since I was still young. At the age of 20, even today, I'm still listening to 702. So I'm gaining a lot in terms of information from 702. Thank you so much.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an unmistakable rhythm that brings us all together. In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Josie My Josie to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Josie My Josie Walk, The Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going on a walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, and we want you to join us and be part of something special. Entries are open. Entries will open soon. In the meantime, stay tuned to 702 and get ready for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with people, for our Josie. Babize bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
Some moments are personal. Some spaces are professional. All of them deserve care. At Frond and Filigree, we create handcrafted floral experiences for life's meaningful moments and the places where they happen. From birthdays and anniversaries to hotels, offices and events, our bespoke arrangements are designed with artistry and intention. Because when flowers are done right, they elevate every moment. Visit frondandfiligree.co.za.
Let's hear from Chantal and Mel, owners of Jelly Body and Nail Studio, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We were with our previous insurer for about 4 years, and when we decided to switch, it was actually a flawless process. It definitely pays to switch.
For beauty salons, convenience stores, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Please note the following story contains graphic details. 3 suspects in KwaZulu-Natal have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping and murder of 7 family members. Police say the victims were allegedly snatched from their house in KwaDukuza after it was broken into on Tuesday and their vehicle was found missing. The bodies of 4 women and 3 men were discovered this morning dumped at a veld during a police search. Spokesperson Robert Nichawunda says 2 of the suspects were arrested yesterday.
One of them was found in possession of a cell phone which belongs to one of the victims who were kidnapped. Information directed the police investigation to Dende 2 area in Sindombili, where the suspect was arrested. He was found in possession of a firearm. A total of 11 cell phones were found in possession of the suspects.
Nichawunda says the victims were allegedly tortured.
Police uncovered that one of the suspects worked for the victims. He and his accomplices allegedly broke into the victim's house, tied them up with a rope, and one of them allegedly raped a 20-year-old woman before loading them onto a vehicle belonging to one of the victims. The suspects shot and killed 3 victims to death. The other 4 victims were brutally stabbed to death.
Suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri has taken the witness stand at the Matlanga Commission. Phiri faces allegations of sanctioning contractual work to private security companies without the requisite authority. Two of Phiri's managers have already testified at the commission that he acted on his own. Phiri's actions have been attributed to the municipality exceeding its security budget. Public Works Minister Dean McPherson says he's satisfied with the progress made by the Independent Development Trust to shake off the perception that it's a corruption hub. This after former CEO Tebogo Malaka resigned last August under a cloud of corruption and bribery allegations. Yesterday, officials told Parliament's Portfolio Committee that it's slowly starting to regain credibility in the market with projects worth 6.5 billion rand lined up for this financial year. Lindsay Dentlinga reports.
The IDT was thrust into the spotlight in 2024 over a dodgy 800 million rand tender to supply oxygen to state hospitals. Then last year, its former CEO tried to bribe a journalist in an attempt to stop him from delving into her personal assets. Minister Dean McPherson says the IDT is putting its worst days behind it, but has to accept those implicated in corruption are never going to own up.
They're going to use various channels and mechanisms and proxies and the media to try and defend what is completely indefensible.
McPherson has defended his interventions at the IDT, saying departments have no choice but to do so when their entities are becoming hotbeds of maladministration.
It's about also restoring that credibility in the market.
Chairperson Zimbini Hill says the organisation is looking to appoint a permanent CEO within the next 6 months. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And the prosecution in the trial of alleged underworld gang boss Nafees Modak in the Western Cape High Court says evidence brought in defence of the accused so far has been irrelevant. Modak, who faces 122 charges related to allegedly operating a criminal enterprise, has called 3 witnesses to testify in his defence over the past 2 weeks. But presiding Judge Robert Henney has ruled that most of the evidence brought by Modak's witnesses is inadmissible. Carlo Peterson reports.
Since last week Monday, Nafees Modak's lawyer, Advocate Bashir Sibda, called 3 witnesses to testify in defence of Modak. However, evidence brought by the witnesses failed to convince presiding Judge Robert Henney, who ruled most of it as inadmissible. After Sibda requested a postponement to find new witnesses yesterday, State Prosecutor Greg Vormerans weighed in.
With respect to the case for accused number 1, the record is already burdened with what I can only refer to as irrelevance. We don't want to go down that road anymore.
Vormerans told the court Sibda should use the postponement to find evidence relevant to Modak's charges. The matter will be back in court next week. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,706, 1 cent an ounce. The rand is at 16.54 to the dollar, 22.30 to the pound, 19.34 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $103.82 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 West. This is between the Edenville Road exit and the Glulies interchange. There's also heavy traffic volumes. This is as you head towards Germiston. An accident reported along the N3 North. It's right after the Airlines interchange, about a 20-minute hold up there. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North leaving Midrand. That's due to an accident near Samrand Avenue, causing delays.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 15 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. 3 suspects in KwaZulu-Natal have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping and murder of 7 family members.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 10 o'clock. I hope you're good. My name is Thabo Show. I'm standing in for Clement Manyathela. We're together till 12. This is the second lap of a 3-hour marathon, and this is a medal one. And so we're going to be taking it a little bit easy because, as I said, I do not move furniture. Clement calls this the hanging out feature, and that's exactly what we are going to call it. And I know you love it so much. You look forward to it. I do too when I'm not on air, because we get to hear of amazing individuals. And before I introduce my guest, I want to thank you for participating in the previous hour. We had a very lively, very heated open line. We spoke about the South African Human Rights Commission, the directives not being, and the Constitutional Court had ruled that the directives of the South African Human Rights Commission cannot be binding, and you'd need to take them to court if they were to be binding. And we spoke about the ramifications thereof, of course, and we also touched on the issue of corporal punishment. A lot of parents, came for me there, telling me that I shouldn't tell them how to raise their kids. I'm not telling you how to raise I'm talking about school. At school, there's a community. It's outside your home. In your home, do you? I won't even complain about that unless it comes out, do you? But at school, the law says corporal punishment should not be administered. Township schools, rural schools, peri-urban schools, suburban schools, Model C, there's not Model C anymore, private schools, affluent schools, elite schools, top 5 schools in the country, corporal punishment is outlawed. That's what we spoke about. And but for now, we're going to take it easy. We've got a fantastic guest, and who's always fashionable. 9 after 10.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Well, he's one of the most distinctive voices in South African fashion. He is fashion personified, and he is a model turned designer, self-taught at that, and creative cultural storyteller. He's a trailblazer of note. We grew up looking up to him. He would know how to put things together and just create style on his own. He was born in Mabetla in Soweto. He'll tell us more about that. And he was raised in Kwakwa. He's sitting right in front of me. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome the very gifted Ephraim Minguani. Welcome, sir. I hope you're good.
Good morning. What an intro.
Thank you so much. Please come close a little bit.
All right.
Hoping you're good. I mean, you're always looking stylish. I feel underdressed. Actually, when I was picking out my clothes this morning, I was like, gosh, what am I going to wear? I will be with the fashionista of note, the guru of style. So I just put on just a shirt. I said, I saw whatever he thinks. He can judge me because he's the guru, not me.
I don't know how to judge. I just let people be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely having you with us.
Thank you.
Looking great.
Appreciate it.
I wanted you, perhaps, before we jump into the other stuff and Kwakwa and Mabetla, and those are very interesting places. What's the difference, in your expert opinion, between style and fashion? I think we mix them up liberally. I don't know if there's a difference at all.
Style is something that you cannot buy, and fashion you can buy. Simple like that. Style, you are born with it. It's within you. It's embedded in you.
So you can have money to buy fashionable stuff, but it would still not be stylish.
Hence, that's why when you go to the shops, you'll find somebody has curated the mannequins or the way how they should be put together for you. So not everybody will be stylish, but everybody can be able to access fashion.
And you're definitely stylish. Where did that come from? I mean, born in Mabetla, the influence of style, where did it come from?
My mother, she was the most stylish woman. And I've always been, my mother and my grandmother, so they're always being very stylish whatever they were and how they presented out there. So it's something that I was born with, I guess, and it's just right in my DNA.
And is that the ability to pick out apparel or clothing items that speak to your mood, your skin tone, the occasion? What does style speak to exactly?
For me, more than anything, it's more of creativity.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more just being a designer. I'm more creative more than just being a designer or being stylish or being a stylist. So say if I have to put or curate something, it will be out of my inner creativity, how I look at you. For example, if I have to create a garment,
yes,
I'm one of those people who do things completely different. I don't sit and sketch and think this is how it's gonna be and what. I get interested in, or rather be influenced by seeing the fabric or whatever that mechanism that is coming on my way. And
Yeah.
that's when I started saying, oh, I can make something out of that.
And you mentioned your mom, and I'm thinking during those times, a lot of people were fashionable. And I'm not going to ask you about your age, but I'm just speculating here. But during those times of your mom, I mean, they would wear bell bottoms, jet shirts. They were just stylish. It appears as if everyone just had style.
I should say South Africa was one of the epitome of stylish people.
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s, 90s,
Yeah,
even the
yeah.
2000s. When you come to Johannesburg, in the city, there was no way on earth it will just come with gowns and slippers. You have to dress up. You have to look good. And that's how we grew up. And Sundays, you take the best out of your wardrobe to dress. The parents will dress you up and you go to church or wherever you go, picnics and stuff like that. So it is something that is within us, the culture, especially black culture. We still love dressing up. Whether it's a funeral, it's wedding, you name it. Even when we were going to society, they still have to dress up to outshine one another.
Yeah, yeah.
So my mom was that kind of a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was extremely stylish woman. I mean, whenever, even my collection now, it's out of what I've seen out of all her pictures, and then I created my collection from her pictures. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and I'm interested because in the townships and rural areas, and people are very stylish, but they didn't have much money. So I don't know if that speaks directly to what you are saying about the distinction between fashion and style, that you may still not be able to afford to go and shop at Diamond Walk, but you could still be looking more stylish than someone who is carrying those orange paper bags in Sandton.
Absolutely. They still make, I think township people, actually, if you want to see how people dress, go to townships.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kasi bafethu.
Kasi. I'm telling you.
At a funeral.
Everywhere. I mean, I'm saying even the guys who sit outside on the grate, he'll tell you about seven more years, whatever they call it. Go viral, the shoes be bone up, everything, And I think it's something that it gives us a solace of good feeling, if I may say, and remember in the 80s, when we grew up personally, when I grew up in the 80s, there wasn't much of entertainment and stuff like that. But the only way you have to do and feel good is about doing stuff that with the little that you have, but you still have to do things that are beautiful, elements of beauty. And that's one of them. Clothing, dressing up, it was one, and it's still one of the epitome of us.
I mean, today you are speaking about something that is so simple but profound, because you are saying, as far as I hear it, that sociologically and otherwise we found solace in dressing up, in looking good, in restoring our dignity as an oppressed people.
Yep.
Even back at the time, you saw the pictures of Nelson Mandela, donning a stunning suit.
Absolutely.
Every single day looking debonair, and you saw their dresses, their skirts, Winnie Mandela and many others looking stunning.
You nail it, absolutely. And it has been our culture and still our culture. And even if we go on diaspora, you can see it happens even when it's in New York or in UK, wherever there's always black gathering or always a lot of black people. It's always, and hence we started even influencing now the black culture into other cultures. In terms of dress, of music, whatever, but throughout everything, the epitome of style still come up.
Ephraim, I find that so fascinating. Because now you are explaining how our society operates and how fashion is a statement for politics as well, and other areas of our lives where we seem to be taking it for granted that I'm just looking good, and you're making a bold statement.
Look at Mary Makeba. How she used to come out, whether it's a UN meeting and all that. and clad in her beautiful garments, and she used to. I had an opportunity to sit down one-on-one with her.
Really?
And yes, and a friend of mine, and Philip Mazibuko, she called us and said, "My children, my kids, come and visit me. I'll cook for you." And
when you say that you know her,
yes.
I'll cook for you.
And she said, and she took out all her jewelry, all her dresses. She said, "This one I wore here, this one I was here, this one I was over there, and didn't I look damn good?"
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is Mazi.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Now, I wanted to find out, and I want us to go back to Mabetla. I want us to go back to Kwakwa. But before we do that, South African Fashion Week kicks off. And I'm wondering how we fare globally. And are we getting enough attention? Let alone attention, is the substance profound, and does it have depth? How do we fare internationally, in your view, with other fashion weeks?
Look, South African Fashion Week has been one and still one of the best venues or other platform to showcase the talent of the country. And I must say, it's one platform that will give you a kind of like a better step towards the international level, because it does penetrate throughout all international markets as well. A few years ago, I can say and gloat about it, like through Fashion Week, I managed to be interviewed twice on the big CNN.
Really?
Yes.
That's
you know
fantastic.
what I mean? So, I mean, the world will know who's Ephraim, and so, Fashion Week, it does play its role. And in terms of where we are fashion-wise, in terms of where we are in the standard in the world, I must say we are very much in the middle, because we don't even wait for fashion weeks to happen. We're always pushing things. We are always being known as, years ago, a lot of international designers used to come and produce here. I don't know if you know that. Big names. I may not say their names here, but huge. They used to come and produce in the country.
Really?
Levi's, we still known. It was in Cape Town producing right here. Marc Jacobs and all other people. They've kind of like, took some bits and pieces from us in terms of references as well. You know what I mean? So sometimes we as South Africans, we always undermine ourselves, undermine our culture, but our culture, our roots, our... Being us South Africans, we're huge out there. We not even see that. So we just need to explore ourselves even better and polish ourselves even better and sell us out
Ephraim, I was gonna say, Ephraim, that you spot on with that, and I'm wondering to what extent do we not take ourselves seriously? Do we not celebrate ourselves appropriately? Do we not lift each other up adequately? Because someone like you, and I'm not saying this because you're in front of me right now, but the names that come to mind as to how you have carved this path, Calvin Klein and others, and I'm not saying that you are that. You are our Ephraim, I know, but I'm just talking about the levels. Please don't take it as an insult.
No.
I'm saying you are in that level of the greatest designers, but for some reason, it's like we need to shake up South Africa and say, this is what Ephraim has achieved.
Sure. Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow, because it took forever for us to recognize ourselves first in terms of fashion, and when you do something or you have become a fashion designer, you'll always be compared to the names that you just said. Even when you just start, it's like, oh, I bet I dress better. So it makes better clothes than Ephraim or Ephraim. You know, before you even produce anything. So you have to work 1,000 times to kind of like convince the market, convince the people. And unfortunately, we have become the market whereby everything is just on the same table. So I'm not gonna cry like, oh, I'm ashamed becoming designer. I'm just a local black designer. No, I have to push myself to say, you know what? Let me level the game. The game is over there. Let me just be one of the players in the market. So I'll push myself however I can be able to push myself yes, if I can have a backup of my country,
Yeah.
I can have a backup of my
Sure.
people, of which I'm glad, I might just say, I've been having those kind, and I'm still having those kind of moments whereby I may not sell internationally, but my home ground, my turf, they know me.
It's amazing. 22 minutes after 10 o'clock. Ephraim Minguani is my guest, founder and creative director of Ephraim, South Africa's iconic menswear label. Surely you know of his works, and he does more than that. He's such an amazing trailblazer. And as I said, he was born in Soweto, the best township in the world. I'm being somehow biased when I say that because I'm from Soweto as well. But then you went to Qwaqwa.
Yep.
And is that where you found this love?
My parents were born and bred from Corporal. We came from Corporal.
Okay.
And of course, through migration and moving and looking for jobs and all that, my dad found a job in, he came to Johannesburg, and my mom followed. And yes, I was convinced.
Conceived here.
Conceived here.
Yeah.
And and when I started West Up,
yeah,
I was like, oh, I'm in Soweto. Yes, I've been taken, when I was still young, I've been taken back and forth to my grannies in Corporal and all that.
Yeah.
But when I started to really open my eyes, I was like, I'm a township guy,
Yeah,
I'm a Kasi boy,
yeah.
And my love of a lot of things started really developing in Soweto. I mean, in the 80s when we were growing up, I grew up in the 80s in
Same
Soweto.
here,
Before we had electricity, we used to Athamak Fukati, if I may drop the name, used to be my neighbor, not far from Shawelo. So we used to play on those whenever they dig up the ground to the cables.
Yes.
So they leave all those big.
Oh,
so we used to go and play here.
yeah.
Yeah. So we used to go and play the bicycles. The BMXs were big in the
They were
80s,
big.
and the skateboarding and all that. So that's when I realized, no man, I'm crafted differently. I'm born differently.
Yeah.
Yes, there's books and stuff maybe it's happening, but I love more this side of art. I love arty, beautiful things. And the story that I have to tell you is during that time, Brenda Fassie,
yes,
the Brenda Fassie, used to be our visitor, our neighbor's visitor. His mother.
Oh, really?
Neighbors, yes.
She would come there all the time.
Yes, and one day, oh God,
in a beautiful car.
Yeah, she has this Caravelle. She has a blue Prelude cars. She had, and she took us with the neighbors' guy, the whole youngsters in our street.
Yeah.
She took us to her house in Vleehof, and she took us to, I think from Vleehof we still had a where they used to play the water, fake water, Shewelt.
Yes. Just near Nazareth.
Nazareth,
here.
Yes.
It was Shewelt and Rendista Show.
Yeah, Rendista Show, yes.
Yeah, remember
So she
Shewelt.
took us there.
Yeah.
And she took us, then we went back home late. That's the first time ever my mom scolded me.
It was worth it.
It was worth it because, look, from that time until her passing, we connected.
Really?
Yes, we're having a moment throughout my life with her. One day I'll tell you all about it.
You must.
I've worked with her, legendary. I've styled hair.
Really?
I've performed. I've danced with her.
Oh, really?
That was when we in Claude, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, some of the songs, which songs were you guys doing? What do you remember?
There was a song that she used to play higher and higher at that time.
Oh, God.
She was playing in her car and we'll dance and oh my God. And now listen to the music, the lyrics then, I didn't know I was young.
Yeah.
But now when I listen to the lyrics now, it's like, this woman, she was destined for the highest in the level of life. You know what I mean? She lived her life to the fullest. There's no person who lived her life in the fullest in the industry like her.
But so are you, because here you are on one end with Mazi, Miriam Makeba.
Yeah.
On the other hand, with the queen of Soweto herself, Brenda Fassie, although she's from Cape Town.
And there's so many in between.
And so many in between.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just pick up a name. I said, oh, I did that with her. I work with Lev Matosa. Fantastic. Yeah. I used to dance with them, teaching them a few dances here and then there. But she's a restaurant.
But you're also a dancer, by the way.
Yeah, self-taught.
Self-taught. What?
Right. Yes, everything that I did, most of the things I did, it was self-taught.
And how do you then compare it, especially with designers that went to school and that would tell you about technical terms? How do you navigate around that? Because if you were someone else, it would make you feel a little bit smaller. Does that somehow reduce your confidence?
Not at all. I remember when I started, some media, I will not name the names, used to call me inverted commas designer, inverted commas.
What?
Yes, I was used to be belittled, to be humiliated. Oh, we're going to go and see this designer, inverted commas. And I was like, you know what, Ephraim, you're going to show the world that you are cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
And for me, I said, I'm going to prove myself beyond. And fortunately, I didn't have mentor. We didn't have mentors in the 90s.
Yes.
I remember early in the 90s, I was in Yeovil, and we were a group of youngsters eager to do things. We are burning to do things. You name them. Everyone who's who now today.
Yes.
We're in that melting pot in Yeovil.
In Yeovil, that famous street.
Rocky Street. We've got about there and all that. And Bona. But the life was good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're cast as the generation, a nowhere to go generation, because we just came back out of apartheid system, and we just first people, youngsters, to vote. So there was so much of anticipation from us, like where this youth is gonna go.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, when black people they meet, they get together, they create magic, and then everybody find one another. We find ourselves in there. And that's how we even casted Wanda Baloyi to be young Mary Makeba. Me and Philip, we suggested her and Mary Makeba when we were sitting and having lunch with her. And she was telling us she wants to redo her video. I said, there's a young girl called Wanda Baloyi. And we went to Tando
in Yeovil.
To cast her.
Yeah,
and she started singing, and we took a little bit of pictures and all that. We showed her, and she was, yes, that's her.
Goodness me. So, and a lot of that is not well captured, because I remember Boom Shaka came with I Wanna Be Free at that time, describing the kind of young people who were coming up at that time, that they were not free, but then now we have transitioned into a new space, and people could not place them as to where they were, because they were just between two generations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, it was a turbulent moment as well, because it's like we become the 1976, but now poetic and active now, but without burning and throwing stones, but now with our talents. We changed that narrative to say we can use our talent to be youngsters who are looked up to. That's when the Tebes, the poets, this whole poet system came up.
Ragamuffin.
There was a coffee society down in Yeovil. That's where the people use poems and all. So it was really a melting pot of activity. And then that exploded.
Those days.
And then we just grew up. And then just everybody found their feet. Everybody started finding their feet. Said, what I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to do. You know what I mean? And fortunately at that time, we started kind of like putting the jigsaw together. To formulate this creativity paths.
Yes.
And then it's still happening even now.
It's still happening.
It's still happening. That's when the other Mafokatas came.
Came.
And then the movements that coming up. There was a Kwaito, there was this, there was a Raga, so everything just started putting all
remember.
Together. Then I became a stylist of every artist that you can think of.
Because you're in the middle of things.
And I was a victim of the thing. I was this model who can dance to almost every most of artists. You can say like you do. I did 2 house videos. You can say so and so. I did that video. So I'll be on every channel on television. That's me. Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God. So I was this young hot ticket young man, and. But that didn't stop only there. Then I realized, you know what? I've got bigger things to express myself to do.
I want us to hold that thought, because I must take the news now. And then after that, I want us to continue and look forward to where the fashion is going in South Africa. But also, I want to dip into that repository of knowledge from your side on fashion, music, and other things. 29 minutes to 11 o'clock. Sfiso Zulu standing by, and if you want to speak to Ephraim, feel free to call us on 011-883-0702. I don't want to monopolize the discussion, but more importantly, Eyewitness News headlines with Sfiso Zulu. Morning again, Sfiso.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. As two of Ekurhuleni corruption-accused senior officials appear in court, the city spokesperson Phakamile Mpengashe says work at the municipality has not been affected. Suspended Metro top cop and municipal manager Kagiso Lerutla are applying for bail this morning. They face charges of fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice, which is a Schedule 5 offence where they will have to convince the court why they should be released on bail. In the capital, suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri has taken the witness stand at the Madlanga Commission. Phiri faces allegations of sanctions, contractual work to private security companies without the requisite authority. Two of Phiri's managers have already testified at the commission that he acted on his own. And 6 people, including a retired Major General and a serving police inspector, have pleaded not guilty to plotting a coup to overthrow Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu. The defendants appeared in the Federal High Court in the capital, Abuja, where they were ordered to remain in the custody of the Department of State Services Nigeria Domestic Spy Agency. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, that accident in Germiston is still there along the N3 North, right near the Geldenes interchange. Is causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of the Yelands interchange. Please approach with care and try to use alternative routes like the N17 east towards the Joburg CBD, along with the N12 west if you are particularly leaving Alberton. And then if you are traveling on the M2 west, we do have delays between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road. There's also queuing traffic in Sharon Lee along Malibongo Drive towards the N1. Heading towards the city of Tshwane via the N1 North, do expect heavy traffic volumes between New Road and Samarin Avenue due to an accident as well as roadworks along this route. I'm also picking up delays along the R101. This is due to people trying to navigate their way around these delays, but unfortunately it's also heavily backed up. So maybe try to use the R55 through Blue Hills, especially if you're heading towards Centurion. And then in the city of Tshwane, queuing traffic along the N14 South approaching Euphus Road. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Aubrey Masangu Show on 702.
I cover on my show issues of advisory, whether it is legal matters, whether it is financial matters. I cover day-to-day issues as far as current affairs are concerned. I cover the politics of the day and how we as South Africans are interpreting them. My listener is a curious 702 lander. They want to know what are the backstories, the stories behind what we are hearing on the airwaves. They want to understand what drives the different issues that have us talking. What I love about the 702 family and 702 land is the fact that we have 702 landers who are responsive, who are present, who care about their communities and who want to know how they can be a part of the process of making our areas better, but also our country better. And that for me is a great privilege. I am totally indebted to the providence out there to be talking to these people on a daily basis.
The Aubrey Masangu Show, weekdays from 8 to midnight.
To you, it's a bee. To your dog, it's a yummy flying jelly bean. But it could also end up being an expensive vet bill. Get peace of mind with Outsurance Pet Insurance from only 65 Rand a month. You get claims paid in one day, a fixed excess, choose your own vet, and you could get a cash out bonus. SMS quote to 45149. That's quote to 45149. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Spinners on Get Prize Drops gives you the chance to win a share of an epic 2.5 million Rand in cash and tech gadgets. Enjoy a spinning spectacular and unwrap exciting wonders where fortunes fall from the sky and you could claim amazing prizes with every round. Simply bet 2 Rand or more on selected pragmatic play slots Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays and enjoy sweet success. Hollywood Bets. It's more fun to spin with us.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Morning, sir.
Hey, got up the shop.
Topping up.
Yeah. Hey, remember when our coffee didn't taste this good?
And when the Wi-Fi dropped 3 times a day?
Yo, my
good
man.
times.
We've leveled up. High-speed Wi-Fi, private spaces, on-site support. This place runs like a machine.
Yo, flippin' seamless.
Yeah, that's WeWork, eh?
And my team's like loving it, eh? Productivity's up. No one's fighting over the fridge.
Yeah, I know. It's the dream.
WeWork, Africa's largest co-working spaces. WeWork.co.za. Made for work, built for business.
Sometimes all it takes to reshape the world and deliver better outcomes is a little unconventional thinking. Black Sheep Thinking, powered by Camissa Asset Management.
Think back to the year 1854. It's London, which is possibly the busiest city on earth at the time. But a deadly cholera outbreak began, and everybody thought cholera was spread through bad air, except for one doctor who thought the problem might lie elsewhere. His name, Dr. John Snow. One of the things that, of course, emerged out of all of this is Western medicine's understanding of germ theory, those invisible, creepy little grizzlies. That was first understood through the efforts of Dr. John Snow.
Black Sheep Thinking, every Tuesday on 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, powered by Camissa Asset Management. Invest different. Camissa Asset Management is a licensed FSP on 702.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
22 minutes to 11 o'clock. Welcome back. Thabo in for Clement. We're together till 12. Hanging out feature. We're hanging out with Ephraim Minguani, founder and creative director at FMA, South Africa's iconic menswear label. And we speak to him, coincidentally, in the week of SA Fashion Week, the 22nd to the 25th April in 2026. SA Fashion Week is underway, and Ephraim is sitting in front of me. I have been monopolizing the discussions. Let me just make the circle bigger and allow some of our listeners to participate. I know I'm being throttled. People are saying, we want to speak to him, we want to speak to him. Hear what we have to say. Let's go straight to the voice notes that came through on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Thabo. Good morning, Ify. Man, Thabo, you're sitting with a living legend in the studio today as I'm watching you on YouTube. You know, the guy is so talented. It's very unfortunate as South Africans, we undervalue our talent. And if his works could be on any runway and compete with Paris, New York, and the likes. But as South Africans, I just wish we could put our money where our mouths are. But all the best, Ephraim. We love you. Des from Glenmarie.
Thabo, you have one of the best designers emhlabeni, uKing Kotini himself. Aibo, uyikhulumile indaba when he says, if you want to see isitayela, come to the townships. Mphume Soweto and I co-sign. Thank you for the wonderful fashion that you've made for us.
Fantastic. 011-883-0702. Baba, you're calling us from Joburg. Hi, Baba.
Good morning, Thabo. How are you?
I'm free. How are you, Baba?
I'm quite excited you have my dear brother and friend there.
Fantastic.
So all those Brenda Fassie and other stories he told me, very fascinating. But if there's somebody who actually deserves to be called a legend, because we use this word very loosely.
Yeah.
It's Ephraim, so he's legendary. So I just want to equally give him his praise. He has been part of the soul of the city. As Johannesburg celebrates its 140 years, part of those years can't be mentioned without Ephraim. Part of the building of a very strong fashion route in Johannesburg and in Gauteng. Not only is he a designer, but he mentors a whole lot of other people. So he runs fashion academies together with his other, fashion guys. So the struggle to mainstream fashion and make it an integral part of the creative economy must continue. And with people like Ephraim, I think we can see light at the end of the tunnel. And I just wanted to pass my regards and super congratulations to him.
He's listening to you.
Thank you so kindly. Really appreciate it.
Oh man, thank you so much, Baba. That's absolutely amazing. Really appreciate it. 011-883-0702. Let's go to this text over here. It says, "Hi Tabo, recently myself and my wife were wondering where Ephraim was. We lived together at Houghton Gardens, Cavendish Road in Yeovil in the late 1990s. Yes, him and friends were having fun in those days. So good to hear from him. Sorry I can't make a call. Thanks." This comes from Simon, and Simon is saying that you guys used to live together that side in that very famous, legendary place called Yeovil, and in and around those places. They were just absolutely amazing. But you do, dancing, music, and but I suppose it's the family of creativity, all in all. And you were just telling me something interesting during the break, and I don't want our listeners to miss out on that you contributed to one of the long-standing awards in South Africa.
Yeah, the Metro Music Awards.
Yeah.
The year 2000, I remember I walked on the corridor going to the GM of Metro FM at that time.
Yeah.
Mr. Kumalo,
Romeo Kumalo at the time.
And I think somebody approached him and they were like, "No, we don't have money." So I said, they came to me, and I was working for a production called Jan Malan at that time.
Yeah.
And Jan was like, "Ephraim, can you talk?" I think it was like,
Skinned.
Yeah. I said, "Okay."
Your brother.
So, yes.
Yeah.
I went, and Romeo was like, "No, we don't have money. There's no sponsor." I said, "You know what? Can I be that kind of person? I've been all my life who just go out and see what I can do."
Yeah.
And he gave me a platform, said, do what you have to do.
Really?
And the first person I contacted, it was, because I had a very good relationship with all these artists.
Yeah.
I still remember, she still always berate me over it. She said, "You're supposed to have a right of this." Yvonne Chaka Chaka. I went to her house.
Yvonne.
Yvonne.
Yeah.
I was straight to her house. I knock. And she opened, "I'm Yini."
Yeah.
"Ma'am Yvonne, I'm here to beg you to come and perform.
Yeah.
I've got a show. I don't know where. I've started the production. I don't have a production house. I don't have anything. My production house in my car, in my phone." So I was calling each and every artist that I know. Bole, Bubu Mama. And I remember I went to go and see. She was living in Israel. The late Mama Dobashile.
I see. She was from Sophia Town.
Yes.
I know who you told. Oh man, Klassen.
Yes,
Tandy
Klassen. Yes.
Tandy Klassen,
I went to her house. I used to pick her up for rehearsals and drop her off.
Really?
So I was a runner. I was a producer. I was a director. I was everything. I wear all the caps.
Yes.
So we are only two of us who has produced that show. I produced the entire show, and the lady by the name of her name is I'll remember her.
Yeah.
She was there to help me. She was behind, putting everything together.
Yeah.
Whatever I just throw. So I came with a theme called Vavas J. Where were you? Yeah. And for me, it was just dedicating the whole South African music and style and everything into the production.
Yeah.
And I remember what his name was very big at that. Vavas J.
Ishmael. And yes.
So he was the interlude of my show. So whenever there's we produced the show was at the pyramid, the famous pyramid.
Oh, of course.
And so he had two stages.
Yes.
So all the DJs, I split the DJs. Other DJs would be on top stage, other ones would be bottom. So Ishmael would just say, "Vavas J," and when you do a set segment, he'll point up to another DJ upstairs and they'll play the music. And didn't we have a drama that night of the show when Yvonne performed? Because I like twisting things. So I said, we're going to honor Brenda Fassie. So she's going to be invited and sit down.
Yes.
And watch the show. And Yvonne's going to be singing her songs, Brenda Fassie's song. Not as a dedication. I've been checking these things, how they do international. I said, oh my God. We had a serious drama. She wake up.
Brenda and Yvonne.
She went straight to the stage and said, corner up, was not calling us. I'm here and he's singing my song, Yvonne.
This is Brenda Fassi on stage.
Yes. But it was beautiful moments.
Yeah.
And Levuma she was an it girl. So she closed the whole entire show.
Yeah.
Because she just released her album. And then,
Yeah.
so I call it Future.
Yes.
So there was from the 50s of Firetown, all different eras. I did the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I did each and every era. And then the 70s, you'll have the Mzabalazo songs. You'll have Kids in Black and White. We're doing like a Sarafina movement. So every moment, I kept every aspect of music. And so people are watching beautiful spectrum of music industry from then to end. So more than anything, like I said, I've just never been just a designer. I've always been wearing, I was stylist for generations. I work with the likes of big production like Bomb Production. We did Yuzo.
You're kidding. You also did Yuzo.
All those kind of things. All those production.
Yuzo was
Zone 14. You name it. So I've been testing all the platforms, and wherever I go, I always say I want to make an impact. And I come and make changes, and I'm glad some of the changes they're still working even today. I remember when I went to work at the famous then, but it's still I think Telenova. It's not Telenova. It's one of the stories on SABC. Generations. I worked there 2 years.
Really?
As well. So I did almost everything. Magazines. Oh my God! When we had magazines.
When we had magazines. Ephraim, you are a walking dictionary of that era. That was so amazing. I mean, you did so much. All those names are iconic. Today's success is really premised on all the names that you are speaking of right now. Whenever I'm doing this show, I get into trouble with the producers because you have chosen 4 songs, and it has never happened since I did this show.
Can we have a Mandlanga time?
Yeah.
I wish we could have a Mandlanga time and just chat for the whole day.
That's what I want. That's what I want. But I'm getting into trouble with the producer. They say, you have not even played one song. And that's typically what I do because I love exactly what you're saying. I want to hear more of that. And before we jump into to a song quickly, but say something about Kwakwa. Because it's far-flung, and we're thinking, people like us from Soweto, we're thinking Gikoti Plasing. Say something about that.
Kwakwa was epitome of education as well. There were so many boarding schools in Kwakwa. So a lot of youngsters were coming from different townships, especially Soweto, Israel, even as far as Eastern Cape. They used to come to Kwakwa to study because at that time, Kwakwa was one of the best. It had the best system of education and schools, boarding schools. So most of our guys that I knew, even now, they're from here, and they all went to Kwakwa, and when we were at boarding school. So I grew up at my grannies, and my cousin brother Sipo was in Germany, and he had a play. He was in the theater. So he's one of the people who influenced me in fashion as well, because he would send me things like high tech, and I'll be the only one. I said, I'm the only one who had high tech at school. No one worked there.
High tech.
Yes. So as I grew up over the years, I realized there was a show like something similar to Right Easter Show. They called it Diponsong.
Yes. I remember, and it was not Lesedi at the time. It was Radio Sesotho at the time. It would broadcast from there. Yeah, Diponsong. Yes.
And I was in that mist.
Yeah.
I performed in the full stadium.
Really?
The Charles Mopedi Stadium.
Charles Mopedi, yeah.
And remember, I'm a gossip guy from Soweto who always, I'm in school in Corporal during holidays. So I'll bring things that the rest in breakdance was big. No one knew breakdance. I'll do big breakdances. And I was on the cover of Solopid magazine. My first cover ever.
Oh my goodness.
And then that's how everything started going on and on. And even when my grand passed, 85, I went to boarding school in Tseki.
Yeah.
That's why I stayed. And then we started having a group of dancers. We were doing flash dance and all that. And Brenda Fassi came to perform in Corporal.
Oh my.
God behold, Abu Lindy and all that, their kumbi stuck. They are broken. Yeah. And actually came the band. And the backing artists and the dancers,
they couldn't make it to the
and Brenda
event.
came to the school.
Yeah.
We're waking up around 11 at night.
Yeah.
To say, this video so wait.
Yeah.
I need to come and dance. Oh, wow. And we danced in that Chaba hall.
And did you rehearse before?
No. But we had our own
yes,
dance group
at
school, because those were big at that time.
Yeah.
In the 90s, if you didn't belong, I don't know if you belong to
the
days of La Poloja and all that.
I remember. La Poloja, on Saturday.
We did all that movement. So, look, this thing I was born with.
There's a fire in you, and it's burning very, very bright. I have to take a break quickly, and I'll come back with more of your texts, and we'll close it off with Ephraim. It's 8 minutes to 11 o'clock on 7.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays
12 to 1.
Mbazima Shilowa. Does this favor the ANC, or does it give just more clarity on where the parties sit with one another?
I think that, for lack of better word, the ANC would have decided we have to call the SACP's bluff. We've got to say, yes, you have the right to contest elections. After all, you are a political party, and political party is all about political power.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an unmistakable rhythm that brings us all together. In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going on a walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, and we want you to join us and be part of something special. Entries open soon. In the meantime, stay tuned to 702 and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
Reliable water services depend on a sustainable system. When residents pay for municipal services, it enables Johannesburg Water to maintain infrastructure, repair leaks, upgrade networks, and continue delivering essential water and sanitation services to the city. Revenue collected from services is reinvested into operating and strengthening the water system for everyone. By paying for services, residents play an important role in supporting the sustainability of Johannesburg's water supply. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water, a water and sanitation utility that cares.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
6 minutes to 11 o'clock. Ephraim Minguani is my guest, founder and creative director at FMO, South Africa's iconic menswear label, fashionista, stylist of note. He was telling us about the dancing days with all those amazing individuals. Before we say goodbye, what is missing? What can we do for the industry in South Africa, in your view? How do we put the puzzles together to get that magic that is required to produce people like you?
I always say you'll always find somebody out there to do things right. I got a friend of mine, Tula Cindy. A few years ago, he came with an idea and he created a beautiful platform called Africa Rise. And he said, you know what, Ify? We sat down, I remember we in the studio, said, you know what, can we just put everybody, and we started with our designer friends first and put everybody under one room.
Yes.
And a collaboration started there. So if we collaborate and get things together, we can make it the circle even bigger. So we collaborate with the other designers. So when you come, if you don't find anything interesting from Ifimo, there should be David Glady here, there should be a Cindy here, there should be Maria McCloy, there should be somebody else. Somebody will, it's like when I design, I just don't design for one person in mind. We've got all diversity of people. So whenever I do a collection, I create collection with different minds of different people in my head. There'll be a person who walks this way. There'll be a person who's got this kind of a body. This kind of, so I curate everybody within my collection.
Sure.
Even when with the industry, we need to curate it to absorb and even create. So what we did, beautiful thing with Africa Rise, we have young designers, but we just didn't put on a side to say these are young designers.
Yes.
We put them within us. So you don't see young designers, you just see beautiful outfit.
Yeah.
And that's how we should do it.
That's it.
Let's not label anything, just put things. So whether you, we need the buying out. Unfortunately, we still need the buyout of our government
Certainly.
to come in to protect
And
us
help.
and help. We need that. We are crying voice, but we are very silent crying voice.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that they're listening right now.
It should happen.
Listen, we have about 20 seconds. Anything in closing? Where do people find your stuff? Where do we reach you on social media and elsewhere? SA Fashion Week.
If you punch Ephraim, you'll find me on all social media.
Yeah.
And we are at Africa Rise store online because we move in premises. We're going to be in a new, beautiful setting. And we are in the studio as well. We are very active in our studio, and it's an iconic run club in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Please, guys, don't kill me. I'm a city boy. I'm a creative city boy, and I love my city, so I'm not moving anytime soon.
We love you. The city loves you.
Thank
Ephraim,
you.
I loved every second of speaking to you. You are completely magical, and South Africa celebrates you. It's fantastic talking to you, and I wish you the very best.
I appreciate the moment that you gave me, and maybe see more of our beautiful creativity out there.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ephraim Minguani, founder and creative director of FML South Africa's iconic menswear label.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
On our show, we cover the news, but we try to do it in a slightly different way. If there's breaking news, we give you the facts, but we're always looking for somebody who can explain to us why something is happening, and we apply that thinking to everything we do. That, yes, you want to know the what, but crucially, you want to know the why, and most important of all, you want to know how it might be fixed. The wonderful thing is we don't have one kind of listener who listens to our show. I think the kind of listeners we have are people who want to be heard, but they definitely listen very, very carefully. Once they've made up their mind, they come in very, very quickly, very sharp, very focused, and if they're not happy with the answer, you're going to find out very, very soon. And it's great because it keeps us interested and it keeps us on our toes. We're putting the show together, but thank goodness the listeners are keeping us accountable, and that's good for everyone.
702 Drive with John Perlman. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m.
We all know that hustle, trying and yet battling to reach the right customers. That's how a lot of businesses start. And your marketing budget can only take you so far. With MTN Business, you don't have to rely on just one channel anymore. You can reach your customers wherever they are through WhatsApp marketing, bulk SMSs, and digital tools. So instead of battling, reach the right customers with MTN digital tools. Let's talk shop. Click on mtn.co.za/business or visit an MTN store today. MTN Business, Africa's leading enabler of connectivity and converged solutions.
Attention all shoppers.
Our supermarket shelves are full of unhealthy food. It's often hard for me to know which foods are good for my family. The information on packaged food is complicated and hard to understand. I wish we had easy-to-understand warning labels on foods high in salt, sugar, and saturated fat. We have the right to know what's in our food. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods. Sign the petition on heala.org. That's HEALA.org.
Fundamentals of audio technology. This is the building of a firm foundation in audio, and where better to do it than right here, Academy of Sound Engineering. You'll be taken through your paces as we introduce you to key concepts, principles, techniques, workflows all together. We're talking the physics of sound, such as sound waves, textures and characteristics, and then of course, industry standard equipment. Visit us on asc.co.za and get your application started today.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. As two of Ekurhuleni corruption-accused senior officials appear in court, the city's spokesperson, Phakamile Mbengashe, says work at the municipality has not been affected. Suspended Metro top cop and municipal manager Kagiso Lirutla are both applying for bail this morning. They face charges of fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice, a Schedule 5 offence where they will have to convince the court why they should be released on bail. Mbengashe says work has to continue.
There's been a shake-up and there's been an awakening to have a governance turnaround and things to get better. Everything's being exposed. I think from here it's an opportunity. It is a crisis, but we see it as an opportunity to turn the city around and get things right.
Suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri has contradicted his bosses, saying he did not act alone when deploying private security guards. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission, Phiri says all the deployments he signed off on were approved by his senior managers. Phiri faces allegations of flouting the municipality's procurement processes by deploying private security guards to protect municipal infrastructure without the requisite authority. Tembisa reports.
Suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri went through a series of emails between senior managers at the municipality. The email chain begins in November 2024 with the city's head for bulk water services, Eiza Sekholela, urgently requesting security personnel at 2 water pump stations. The request was sent to the municipality's Director for Assets Protection Services, Chukudu Malaji. In January 2025, Malaji responds to the email saying he has, quote, ordered Inspector Lebogang Phiri to discuss the deployment of security services to the sites. Phiri says part of his job is to handle the deployment of security.
I wish to categorize place on record that I derive my authority to issue instructions for ad hoc security deployments directly from Director Chukudu Malaji.
Malaji previously testified at the Madlanga Commission, saying he never delegated his authority to Phiri. Tembisa, Eyewitness News.
Another corruption case is expected to be opened today against Social Development Minister Sisisito Lashe over a donation of vehicles to the ANC Women's League that she allegedly redirected to her children. The DA is the latest to make a move 2 weeks after Action SA filed its complaints at the Cape Town police station against Dolashe. The minister has been embroiled in a storm over the vehicles in recent weeks, which she has reportedly explained to the ANC's Integrity Commission as protecting the party's assets from possible seizure due to financial troubles as it was experiencing at the time. Lindsay Dentlinker takes a look.
Action SA MP Derrylene James laid a criminal complaint against Minister Sisisito Lashe in terms of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act after the Daily Maverick revealed that it appeared she registered the donated vehicles in the names of her 2 children instead of the ANC Women's League for whom they were intended. Both Action SA and the DA followed up their criminal complaints with grievances to Parliament's Ethics Committee and the Public Protector. Over the weekend, the Sunday Times reported that Tolashe has explained to the ANC that she did not declare the donated vehicles to Parliament because they were merely in her family's possession for safekeeping. Now, DA MP Nazli Sharif says she will ask the police to conduct a full and independent investigation regarding the registration of the vehicles. But Action SA has slammed the DA for duplicating its work and says the party is clawing for relevance. Action SA says it's actively pursuing further leads and working to expose other ministers believed to be connected to the scandal. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And 6 people, including a retired Major General and a serving police inspector, have pleaded not guilty to plotting a coup to overthrow Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu. The defendants appeared at the Federal High Court in the capital Abuja, where they were ordered to remain in the custody of the Department of State Services, which is Nigeria's domestic spy agency. A 7th person, a former governor and one-time oil minister, has been named as a conspirator, but court documents said he was still at large. Reports of the coup plot surfaced when the government abruptly cancelled the planned military parade to mark Nigeria's 65th independent anniversary last year. And at the time, officials cited security threats, but speculation quickly linked the cancellation to a possible coup plot. Gold is trading at $4,706.01 an ounce. The rand is at 16.54 to the dollar, 22.30 to the pound, 19.34 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $103.82 a barrel.
And in the traffic heading towards Eldorado Park, we've got some delays on the N12 West between the N1 exit and the Golden Highway. While traveling on the N3 North, we still have got bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is between Fort Drucker Road exit towards the Geldenes interchange. That's due to a major accident seen on the N3 North, and then in Midrand, another one reported on the N1 North near Sambrand Avenue, causing delays.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 15 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. As two of Ekurhuleni corruption accused senior officials appear in court, the city spokesperson Phakamile Mbengashe says work at the municipality has not been affected.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 11 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. You're on 702. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Shola. I'm happy to be in your company on the last lap of the show. An hour to go, and in the previous hour we had a fascinating discussion with Ephraim Minguani, stylist extraordinaire, fashionista of note, someone who has left some interesting footprints on our landscape, creativity, music, and everything else in between. And I hope that you enjoyed that discussion. You know that all of these wonderful discussions, they are podcast, right? And you can find them on primemediaplus.com. That's all that you need to do. And you can go back and revisit the discussions. That's if you've missed it. Or you were listening, you want to go back to some few things, pointers that were there, and for whatever reason you had to jump out of the car, get out of home, jump into a meeting. It's all available on primemediaplus.com. Podcasts, they should be there under Clement Manyathela Show. This hour is equally important as we get a little bit serious, and we are asking, does charging public officials for PFMA violations create a culture of fear or of accountability? Will they start becoming fearful or more accountable? Because you'd know that National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola was charged with a contravention of PFMA. And as a result, we are asking this question. It has been widespread, although he may be the catalyst for this particular topic. I'm sure that we have ample examples. Life Esidimeni could be one of them. You could also refer to the COVID-19 expenditure spree that took place in Gauteng and elsewhere, for that matter, where officials now ought to be held accountable. They can't just say, I did not know. And will this actually be the camel that breaks, the straw rather, that breaks the camel's back? And it's really been an important week for law enforcement, as South Africa's top cop, Police Commissioner, National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola made his court appearance, as you might have seen. And he faces 4 counts of violating the PFMA, Public Finance Management Act, in connection with his alleged failure to act within his duties as a subs accounting officer, as he is right at the top there. And this was in connection with awarding a controversial 360 million rand health service tender to Musi Ketmatlala's company, Medicare, who is allegedly a criminal kingpin. And these charges they've sparked some widespread concerns about leadership and accountability at the highest levels of South African police service. As you might have seen, various generals appearing, and one of them had said that they did actually visit Vusmusi Ket Matlala whilst he was in prison. It's 11 minutes after 11, and I will momentarily introduce my guests for our dialogue feature. Good morning.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Tebogo Khas is my guest. He's a founder and chairperson of Public Interest South Africa, and he needs no introduction at all. He is a regular and a friend of the show and the station generally, because we feature him on various shows regarding issues of public interest in South Africa. Mr. Khas, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to 702 once again. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me, Itabo, and good morning to Andy and Dr. Goma.
Certainly, Dr. Goma will join us in a short while, but he will be here. Tate Andy Mashaile, also our guest, someone who's frequently speaking to us. He's a security strategist, and he's also agreed to speak to us this morning. Mr. Mashaile, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Morning to you.
Back to the production team and my big brother, the Tebza, Tebogo Khas.
Thank you. Thank you to you both, gentlemen. We will shortly be joined by Dr. Sam Koma, who is a governance expert, and I had intended for him to answer this question, but I know both of you are equally capable of proffering a very comprehensive response to this. We often speak about PFMA, and one thing about our acronyms in South Africa is that we assume that everyone knows what is PFMA and what it intends to do, the consequences there of contravening PFMA. But I think let's kick off, if we can, Mr. Khas, about PFMA, the Public Finance Management Act. What does it intend to do? And in layman's term, what is it?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Tabo. And I think it's essential that we start right there. First of all, we need to define or to understand what is the PFMA and what is it designed for. You know, in essence, the Act itself, the Public Finance Management Act, was designed to enforce accountability in the use of public resources. But its application must be consistent, fair, and grounded in both the letter and spirit of the law. So that is important. And its provisions are interpreted in a manner that selectively, if its provisions are interpreted in a manner that selectively criminalizes conduct, while similar or more severe instances of irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure go unaddressed, it risks undermining both credibility and public trust. So that is where the nub of the issue is, and I think you have articulated very well in the introduction that General Masemola is facing 4 charges under the PFMA Act, which I'm sure you'll be able to articulate as well as exactly what it is. But let us also not lose sight of the fact that accountability cannot be situational. You know, it must apply uniformly across the system without fear, favor, or prejudice.
And consistently, because generally, if the law fails to maintain consistency, it loses its efficacy.
Absolutely. Because what we must guard against is to ensure that the prosecutorial power, which rests within the National Prosecution Agency, as well as the IDEC, Independent Directorate Against Corruption, which is the one that brought these charges against General Masemola and many others, on the Medicare 24 tender. We must ensure that it must never be exercised without legal discipline and institutional integrity. And I think that is what should be our focus, to ensure that was the legal discipline in putting the charges as are being put to, in this instance, we're focusing on General Masemola, as well as institutional integrity. Is the institution itself beyond reproach, or are individuals, especially the head of the institution themselves, beyond reproach? And that is the nub of where public interest and others are actually pointing at.
Mr. Kass, and I will come into the nitty-gritties, if you will, of General Masemola in a short while. But while still dealing with the structural issues of PFMA, let me bring in quickly Mr. Andy Mashaile in this instance. Mr. Mashaile, I mean, the responsibilities on the PFMA are generally defined towards and confined to accounting officers, and General Masemola is one of those accounting officers, and they're a little bit broad, but they seek to speak to internal controls and just timely financial reporting of this. To what extent have we seen these accountability measures and strict adherence to the PFMA being taken to heart by various government departments, including at the municipal level? This, to me, seems like one of the first prominent cases where the PFMA is at the center.
Tibos, the ecosystem is fraught with landmines. The ecosystem of the criminal justice system now is fraught with landmines. The ecosystems look at surface level, it looks very cool, very sharp. But when you step in on that ecosystem, you are bound to find situations where your IDEC would look at possibilities as well as they would look at strengths that they hold against accounting officers. And secondly, the IDEC would be looking at testing and trying out their teeth, obviously using the PFMA as their teeth in establishing that the accounting officer, let me generalize, the accounting officer might be guilty of aiding and abetting fraudulent contracts to obtain, and those fraudulent contracts would be tapping the purse of the state. Let me cite a simple example. Ntate Matala, from that contract of 360 million, was paid 50 million, and now you are in court for 228 million that you are contesting. Obviously, when you lose the case and you have to pay back, you pay back that 50 million. So the accounting officer of SAP, or the Director General of the Department of Police, in this case, General Masemola, from a strategy point of view, when Atibos, IDEC would look at that 50 million that has been paid out. Did you intentionally ignore the advice that you were given by the minister? Here's where everything turns around. The minister says on the 20th of March 2025, he read about that irregularly awarded tender, that fraudulently awarded tender, because there was exchange of money. He advised the National Commissioner, and the National Commissioner disregarded the advice of cancelling that contract. So in case development of IDEC, and if I were sitting behind the strategies or giving strategic advice to those who are going out to investigate, I would say money was paid, and this is aiding and abetting. This plays in the space of a generally corrupt relationship with Ntate Matala. Now, it would mean that I would go out there and have to prove that there was a relationship between Tate Masemola and Tate Matala and those 12 others who are charged. So the ecosystem, like I said, around Tate Masemola is like a quagmire, very dangerous. And I can tell you, Tibos, one of the things in my analysis would be people would be, or other organizations or other investigators would be looking at dislodging Ntate Masemola as a result of some of the allegations that we have picked up in the air of the Louis Vuitton bags and that kind of stuff. So part and parcel of the ecosystem that I have drawn for you and Ntate Kas as well as the listener there speak to some evil, for the want of a better word, some evil manipulation of the system to push a certain narrative and to get rid of Ntate Masemola. And we are not speaking for him here. We are just analyzing the pattern of events and its impact now with the appearance a few days ago in court.
Yeah.
And we are projecting it to say this can happen based on the pattern of events.
And the limitations, confinements of the PFMA as regards to the responsibility of the accounting officer, where do we draw the boundaries, especially if you are an accounting officer and but supply chain management, value chain decides to go ahead nonetheless? Doesn't that hold you somehow accountable, and are you not complicit? And we can't hide behind ignorance because it doesn't exempt us from the course of the law.
He knows very well that Masemola, ignorantia legis neminem excusat. The law, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, and also the law excuses no one. Ignorantia nemis, we'll go on as we go on. We'll explain in better details. Let's not use some serious terms so that our people can understand. The law is not excusing you so that you didn't know, and you claiming ignorance cannot hold. Why? Because you are the accounting officer. The buck stops with you.
And this is not new at all, Tebohokas, as we might have seen in the past, where the issues of Esidimeni, for one, and the premier, the then premier, came through and said, and feigned ignorance on some of the issues, and somehow did not want to account fully as an accounting officer, and stuck to his guns that he had done everything else. Hence, I'm asking about the confines and the borderlines. Where do we draw them as far as the PFMA is concerned? Is it silent on the extent at which an accounting officer can go in preventing, stopping, or halting any action that might be deemed to be against the PMFA?
Yeah, Tabo, that question I think is very pertinent, and I think we'll see it as more matters unfold, especially relating to Esidimeni as well as the SAPS matter. You know, the law makes it clear that the accounting officers are central to financial governance, so anything short of that will put them in peril. In fact, it makes it clear that they must ensure that there's full compliance with the PFMA. You know, they carry the responsibility over public resources, the allocation thereof, and making sure that their governance is actually per the letter of the law. So anything that deviates that will expose them to potential, irregularity. And where irregularities arise, there must be consequences for the financial officer concerned. Because failure to act will breed a culture of impunity and erosion of public trust. So there's no free meal or free ticket for any accounting officer. But what we must do is we must ensure that if accounting officers themselves, are not held accountable, governance will collapse. And there'll be no consequences. Impunity will be the order of the day, and that is what we must guard against. But I don't want to preempt where you might be going, but let us also ensure that agree that there must be restraint. There must be restraint in terms of how we pursue accountability, because if we don't restrain, and by restrain I make sure that those responsible for preferring any accountability against individuals concerned, they must ensure that the rule of law is adhered to. In its core, the rule of law demands that decisions must be based on evidence, not speculation. So we must also be careful not to be caught in the realm of speculation because we haven't yet really seen the charge sheet.
Yeah.
And the process must be fair, and transparent and consistent, which is much more important.
Yeah, and this would have serious implications, I can assume. But needless to point out, Mr. Kass, that Treasury is also somehow is also implicated if an accounting authority or officer is implicated, because the PFMA does mention that the relevant Treasury in exceptional circumstances may approve or instruct that another functionary or public entity must be the accounting authority for that public entity. So concurrence also is something to consider as far as PFMA is concerned.
Yeah, and when you talk about Treasury, it is important also to look into what we might actually be loosely call Treasury within SAPS. You ask yourself, what was the role of the CFO in this whole matter? The CFO of SAP, we know that she appeared before the ad hoc committee herself. Why is she not sitting alongside Fanny Masemola to face similar charges? Why is it that the head of the SCM within SAPS, who's a former Treasury employee himself, Lieutenant General Fanny, is not sitting alongside, being charged alongside General Masemola on the same issues? And questions also arise. Why is it that General Masemola would not be charged separately from those, because he's not facing corruption charges, unless, of course, they're telling us there's a link between his breaching of PFMA, directly colluding with others, which is not what we believe is the case here.
Sure.
And it is all about optics, as far as many people and cynics are concerned, that they want to ensure, or rather, it might be a perception that he's being put out there in the dock to embarrass or to humiliate him, as in furtherance of what many believe factional battles within SAPS itself, where some individuals may be pitted against each other. So we must also be clear, and this is a legitimate question that we are asking. And I'm doing this just to also, sensitize your viewer, your listeners, that as public interest, way in December 2025, we made approaches, representations to the Department of Justice, to the Minister, as well as the then on her way NDPP Advocate Batohi, to ensure that they look into the conduct and probity or suitability to hold office of the head of the IDEC, which is now charging, to ensure that in the event that IDEC goes to court on matters that may be suspiciously seen to be favoring one section over the other within SAPS, it is clear that the hands are clean when they go to court.
I want to ask this question, Andy Mashaile, but I'll have to wait because we have about 20 seconds to the Eyewitness News headlines, and I don't want to interrupt your train of thought. But perhaps you can ruminate over it in the next while or so, because these charges, whilst they're not about corruption, as Tebogo has already said, but the PFMA does point directly that they affect issues of fidelity, honesty, integrity, and in the best interest of the public entity in managing the financial affairs of the public entity. So please think about that in a short while. And when we come back from the Eyewitness News headlines, I want us to speak to this because it just might be, if not equally, more damning of an indictment than that of corruption, because fidelity, honesty, and integrity are extremely important components of competence as far as an accounting officer is concerned. But all that and more after this. It's exactly 11:30. Mikey Mulapo is standing by, joining us for the Eyewitness News headlines. Morning and welcome, Mikey.
Thanks, Taba. Good morning. As two, Ekurhuleni corruption accused senior officials appear in court. The city spokesperson Pakami Lempengashe says work at the municipality has not been affected. Suspended Metro top cop and municipal manager Kagiso Lerutla are applying for bail this morning. They face charges of fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice as a Schedule 5 offence where they will have to convince the court why they should be released on bail. In the capital, suspended Tshwane Metro Police Department Inspector Lebogang Phiri has contradicted his bosses, saying he did not act alone when deploying private security guards. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission today, Phiri says all the deployments he signed off on were approved by his senior manager. Phiri faces allegations of flouting the municipality's procurement processes by deploying private security guards to guard municipality infrastructure without the requisite authority. And the City of Cape Town says teams are working around the clock to deal with flooding after heavy weekend rains. The Urban Mobility Directorate, alongside Disaster Risk Management and other departments, has logged around 480 flood-related complaints since Friday. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the N1 North, we still have got that accident scene right near Samrand Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of New Road. About a 20-minute hold up there. If you're heading towards Centurion, please try to use the R55 or try to use the R101. While traveling on the N1 South towards the Baku interchange, some delays coming out of Allendale Road. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N3 North. In fact, bumper-to-bumper traffic there. This is between the Elands interchange and the Geldenhuys interchange due to a major accident scene. There's also queuing traffic reported in Eldorado Park along the N12 West approaching the Golden Highway exit. Please approach with care. More updates coming up at the top of the hour with Khomotso Monyai. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 Afternoons with Relebogile Mabotja.
702 Afternoons is about all things in life, from music to inspiration. We get an opportunity to explore science, mental health, food. I almost feel like there's nothing we don't do on my show. One of the things I absolutely love about 702 Land and the 702 family is that we are so sharing. We share tears, laughs, smiles. We share in the amazing times and celebrate together as well. We have a range of topics, but when it comes to what we do cover on the show, absolutely everything. My listener is somebody who wants to grow, evolve, develop. They're empathetic, they are loving, they are so special that even when they don't have, they come through and share, and more importantly, they know how to walk the talk.
702 Afternoons with Relebogile Mabotja. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
702 family. We value what you think, and we want to hear it face to face. This Thursday and Friday, we're opening our studio doors to 702 lenders who'd like to share their thoughts on the station. Your feedback, your ideas, it all matters to us. Everyone who comes through will get a full studio tour. See where the magic really happens. If you'd like to join us, simply send an email to contact@702.co.za. That's contact@702.co.za.
Many of us take taking a deep breath for granted. But for some infants with RSV, every breath is a battle. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
24 minutes to 12 o'clock. Welcome back. Thabo in for Clement. Together with you till 12. We only have a few minutes to go. And central to our discussion this morning is the PFMA, Public Finance Management Act. As you know, that the violation thereof is a charge that the Police Commissioner, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula is faced with. He appeared in court a few days ago with 12, I think, if not 15 others. And as a result, we are asking the question, does charging public officials for PFMA violations create a culture of fear or accountability? As I have introduced them before, Tebogo Gas is my guest, and Tebogo Gas is the founder and chairperson of Public Interest South Africa. Very necessary entity that looks into all issues that deal with public interest, and he's joining us right now. Andy Mashaile also needs no introduction, security strategist and retired Interpol ambassador. He is extremely useful to us as an expert on these issues, especially where security matters, national security matters are involved, and both of them have joined me. Mr. Mashaile, I had intimated to you prior to the break that I'm keen to find out from your expertise about the indictment, especially as regards to fidelity, honesty, and integrity as pronounced in the PFMA. How serious is that? And of course, not only on the National Police Commissioner, but other accounting officers, because this seems to be central to how one is competent as an office bearer.
Chibos, they are terms and conditions of the blacklist of CEOs. CEOs in this instance would be director generals and COOs in the private space, chief operations officer. This blacklist, Chibos, does not exist in public, but that's what, when boards appoint an individual, they look at all of those things and they say, yeah, he's got all the necessary degrees and PhDs, but he's on the blacklist of fidelity, integrity, ethics, and many of those things that those principles that you have applied. I sit on the board of Gauteng Ethics Advisory Council, where you look at the ethics of all those who work in the Gauteng city region. And from there, it can flow on to many other things. Long story short, this is very serious. More than, yes, the charges of corruption, even though it carries an 18 years, an 18-year minimum sentence and then 100 million rand fine. Those are some of the things that you can navigate. You might get your record, your criminal expungement of your record. But when we know, even when we drink tea at seminars, at workshops all over the world, international, and we see you walking by, those who know your background will conclude within themselves to say, this guy, we can't work with. This guy, listening to this gentleman, doesn't carry the salt that it is claimed to be worth because of being found guilty of all those terms and conditions. Once again, on that blacklist, it's very, very serious. You will call someone, Tebogo Gas will not pick up his call. You will phone Andy, they will not pick up. You will phone Thabo, and they will not pick up. You will phone Clement Manyathela, they don't pick up your call. We already know that you are listed when those things happen. And not only once, when you call 3 or 4 times and the same thing happens, we know you must have done something to someone which is not up to scratch. So long story short, this is very serious. I used very practical practical examples, very practical things that I have seen in my own life, in my own experiences, and many of those things that have led to us knowing that there's something called the blacklist of CEOs and COOs, Director Generals. Yes.
To what extent is this going to somehow change future interactions, especially of accounting officers when they interact with these matters? Because when we think of, let's say, Fani Masemola, for one, the National Police Commissioner, General Fani Masemola, we would attribute to him crime-fighting strategies, tactics, and plans over holidays and so on generally. But we do not necessarily attach, as far as I am perceiving South Africans, who do not necessarily attach the issues of PFMA very vividly to them. But when there's a matter of crime, we are quick to say, but what's the National Police Commissioner doing? And I'm wondering, this is a very perhaps flimsical question to both of you, gentlemen, but I'm wondering, as far as perception goes from an ordinary South African, if these two are equally critical matters. On one hand, as a general and a national commissioner, we look at you when there's pickpocketing, robberies, heists, and so on. We say, what are you doing? On the other, there's the admin side of your responsibilities that could seriously implicate you and have nasty ramifications on your career. I'm just wondering, is there an expectation to the effect? And Andy, let's start to you, and let's start with you. We'll go to Mr. Kass in a short while.
Thabo, there is a serious expectation from the consumers of the service. My mom, your grandmom, your sister, your cousin. There's an expectation that you must create safety and security, also prescribed by the National Development Plan 2030. Chapter 12 of that NDP speaks these issues, safety and security for all. Now, the consumers of service don't really care about how much money you get and in the delivery of safety and security. If you don't deliver safety and security by 2030, I'm just making an example.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, people are going to say, Bajile Chele.
Yeah.
Bajadi Chele. These people steal our money. These people in a direct, robust translation, these people eat the money. So normally the perception would be that the police must ensure that there are warm bodies on the ground. Disregarding the issue of financial management, stroke financial crimes that can be committed based on ignorance of the law, and also based on the law excusing them. We have seen a number of Auditor General's reports speaking to irregular expenditure. When you dissect, when you crush that concept, irregular in some instances, irregular might mean corruption. Irregular might mean 100 and something, 189 point something million disappeared in the system, meaning it was not properly used, and it might have been siphoned until you conduct a criminal investigation after the forensic investigation. So these are very serious issues where once one is assessed, one from a public perception, two from an administrative side, and we don't normally assist national commissioners and directors with regard to improving and enhancing their knowledge and their expertise in financial management or financial administration capabilities.
Sure. Tebogo Kass, I don't know if you want to jump in there.
No, certainly. Look, let us make it clear that if you are an accounting officer, a DG, just as the CEO of the company is, as the saying goes, the buck stops with you. The accountability buck stops with you. So you have to be able to account, because Section 83 of the PFMA itself, says that accounting officers or officials commit financial misconduct if they willfully or negligently fail to perform their duties or permit irregular or fruitless expenditure that Andy has just been talking about. It triggers Section 86 of the PFMA, which stipulates that an accounting officer is guilty of an offense which is punishable by a fine or imprisonment of up to 5 years if they act in a grossly negligent manner in failing to comply with Section 38, 39, and 40. But here's the nub of the issue. What did General Masemola do upon being made aware that there are issues with regards to Medicare tender? Did he sit on it? Was he negligent, or did he act on it? Available evidence in the public domain, as we've had testimony within at the ad hoc committee in Parliament, is that he acted on it. He instructed a competent authority within the supply chain, which was acting Divisional Commissioner for Supply Chain Management within SAPS. That was Lieutenant General, I think it was Hawk, I can't remember, Harman, I think. Forgive me if I got the name wrong. Who then investigated those allegations which they had received from the Hawks. And upon investigation and satisfying themselves, he reported back to the National Commission and said, we don't find anything amiss with regards to this. And by the way, it is important to also maybe delve into that at the risk of second-guessing the court process. Some of the things alluded to were invalid tax clearance certificate, and as well as the purported blacklisting of Medicare 24 on National Treasury database. You and I can go to National Treasury data after this. You'll see that there's no company called Medicare 24 listed, unless, of course, that is behind what the public is meant to see on the Treasury's national database. So it is plausible that that is why they didn't find any weight insofar as that allegation or claim that the company was restricted in doing business with the state. With regards to the issue of tax clearance, we also don't know what Lieutenant General found. It might very well be that that was cured. Either the company did produce, because normally, if you fail to comply with certain regulations, they'll give you a timeline to say within 5 days, regularize the tax clearance certificate, come back to us. And it might very well be that was regularized. By the time he went back to Masemola, he had satisfied himself or themselves that there's nothing amiss. Hence, it is on that back of the decision that General Masemola may have acted in a manner that he did, and making sure that he doesn't cancel it. Because remember, cancelling that tender would have also lent potentially SAPS in litigating, just as we remember the 31 million that SAPS was found by a court to be responsible for paying a supplier whose contract was terminated early.
Sure. Well, I'd like us to come back and maybe look at previous cases, including the one where the SIU found that the former health MEC, actually, Dr. Bandile Masuku, had failed to execute his functions in compliance with the Constitution and the Public Finance Management Act, the PFMA. And this, you'd remember, was said by David Makura, who was the Premier of Gauteng at the time. And the SIU had investigated Masuku's role in that huge PPE tender of 125 million. And I'm just thinking various authorities are involved, and if there's any inconsistency here, and or is it too early to expect the SIU to jump in and also investigate this one, as it did with the Bandile Masuku, former health MEC. It's 11 minutes to 12.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes on 702.
My show is about your money, and it's about how people have made their money. But it's also about what happened to your money today, what happened on the JSE, what's happening overseas. All of these things, all about the way in which people make their money, spend their money, use their money, and in so many ways, use their money to make more money for them. What I absolutely love about the 702 family and 702 land is the huge warmth of people, the generosity that they show. But I also absolutely love the hustle. Anyone in business is actually trying to improve the economy. They're trying to have an impact on all of us. And there's a go-getting attitude to 702 land that you don't see in so many other places. That's what I really love about 702 land. That getting together and doing something new, and in the process, making money.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes. Weekdays from 6 to 8 p.m.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an unmistakable rhythm that brings us all together. In celebration of the 702 has partnered with Josie My Josie to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going on a walk through the iconic Joburg CBD, and we want you to join us and be part of something special. Entries open soon. In the meantime, stay tuned to 702 and get ready for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie. Babize bonke. More on primemediaplus.com.
No one gets fit overnight. It takes discipline, and your money is no different. A Nedbank 32-day notice account helps you build financial strength with up to 7.3% interest and zero maintenance fees. The higher the deposit, the higher the return. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. For more information, go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Welcome to Harold's Mother's Day Hotline, brought to you by Net Florist. We've got Mbali on the line.
Hi, Harold. Things are a bit tense with my mother-in-law.
Tension and mothers are my specialty.
We were arguing, and she said if we were married, she would poison my coffee.
Mama Minnie, what does one say to that?
I told her if we were married, I'd drink it.
Wax my sack, we have a winner. This Mother's Day, go to Net Florist and get her a beautiful bouquet and a personalised luxury gown. Order before 6 May and get some Friedland chockies.
That should work. But what if it doesn't?
Drink the coffee. Net Florist. That's easy to show you.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
8 minutes to 12 o'clock, PFMA under scrutiny on the backdrop of the charging of the National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola Maikes Tebohogas and Ndi Mashaile. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to send your questions, and I've been dominating and monopolizing their time. I even forgot to invite you to throw in your questions, your worth, this, that, and the other. And I will do that in a short while. Gentlemen, it's worthy to also note and mention that the president has called for what others may call a family meeting. He'll be addressing the media at the union buildings and is expected to clarify whether National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola will remain in his position. He's doing that presser with the Minister of Police. I'm sure, and I wouldn't want to put you in a spot to speculate about that, but the seriousness of that is obviously critical to this discussion and generally to what's been happening in the country. And Mashaile, do you want to give it a stab?
Tibos, it's painful. Some of us have rolled, walked in the same passages, Lenta Temasemola, and all others who have been going through these motions, ad hoc committee and Mazanga Commission. I think because of the seriousness of Ntate Masemola appearing before a court of law, the president has no choice once again but to ask him nicely to step aside while there are further investigations. Number two, the utterances of Mayor Smakaleng Manamela, the bribe issue, the bribe allegations, would see the president asking Ntate Masemola to step aside because Ntate Masemola cannot deploy a team that will investigate those allegations and report back to him when the allegations are directed at him. So the president, obviously, and the minister and all of us are paralyzed by the turn of events, and we would need to give credibility and integrity as well as honesty to the process and an ethical operational principle would have to kick in here to say, just step aside for a few moments, for a few hours, for a few months, pending the investigations of those allegations and pending your finality of the court case. Also depending on if there are other extra criminal charges that are going to be put on him. That would have to do with corruption in the case when he's charged with
Sure.
Matala and the others.
Debohokas?
Look, I know we are about to conclude, but let us leave with one message that there are dangers on both sides of the accountability vector. If we under-enforce, corruption thrives, public institutions weaken, citizens lose trust in the state.
Yes.
But if we overreach and are seen to actually be weaponizing the criminal justice system, institutions become tools of intimidation. Professional decision-making is chilled, and governance become risk-averse and paralyzed. Now, a state that cannot prosecute corruption fails its people, but a state that prosecutes recklessly also fails its constitution. Now, the question is that where public confidence depends on visible accountability and visible fairness. And the real test is not whether someone is prosecuted, but whether justice is done lawfully, fairly, and consistently.
Certainly. Gentlemen, I have to leave it at that. I mean, we could speak for the next 12 hours back to back. It's a very important discussion. Allow me to thank you for affording us time to speak to you, and I'm hoping that we'll have another opportunity on the station to reflect on these matters with you again. It's 3 minutes to 12.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Elon Musk, this sudden need to develop the rural areas and the poor people of South Africa by the entrance of Starlink to South Africa. But you got to ask yourself that if this country is such a genocidal, racist, evil country, why would you want to do business with those people? If the entrance of Starlink is going to improve the lives of the poor people in the rural areas, why isn't it not doing the same thing in Zimbabwe or Lesotho? We're not seeing too much development happening there.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
Evolution doesn't wait. Introducing the Changan Uni S. Unexpected, unmistakable, uncompromising. Engineered to a higher standard, unlike anything in its class. Unsurprising really from China's oldest automaker. Trusted by 30 million drivers worldwide. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more. The Changan Uni S.
Changan. Driven to evolve. The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
We hear about corporates that care all the time. It's easy to forget what the main aim is. And the main aim is, I suppose, to just remind corporates, yes, you have various responsibilities, but one of them is to society.
Absolutely. Fundamentally, it's about how do we pull together to galvanize business, media, NPOs around, what are the core challenges? Let's pull together, let's make a difference.
Trish Taylor there, head of the Corporates That Care strategy at Prime Media.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Crutches, is brought to you by ABSA Corporate Investment Banking. Success in trade comes from systems that move with speed, connect markets seamlessly, and unlock growth that works across borders. That's why ABSA is a proud sponsor of Trade Tech Europe 2026. Engineered for how Africa trades. ABSA is a registered FSP.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
A minute to 12 o'clock on the other side of the news at 12. Mandy Wiener will take you through the Midday Report. She is here, award-winning author, broadcaster, and all-round amazing human being. Mandy Wiener, how are you doing?
You should teach Clement how to introduce me.
Maybe you should pay Clement something that you've given me. I'm kidding. You gave me nothing. I'm kidding.
Thank you for
What's
that
coming up
intro,
on the
Thabo.
show?
Big breaking news. The President to address the nation with the Police Minister this afternoon. I think we can safely assume there will be an inquiry and an acting Police Commissioner. The ANC study group wants urgent action to restore the integrity of the SAPS. Both the SACP and the ANC holding press conferences today. We'll bring you the latest from the Madlanga inquiry. And Tabo, our book of the week is, I've done a great interview with Oprah's co-author on their book called Enough. It's about GLP-1s and about weight, and it's really interesting. It's a long interview, so tune in for that.
I can't wait. All that and more on Midday Report with Mandy Winner, the great Mandy Winner. Have a lovely one, 12 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Maki Molapo. Criminal complaints against Social Development Minister Sisisi Tolashe over a vehicle donation are mounting. The DA has today laid 2 complaints of fraud against her related to the registration of 2 vehicles supposedly meant for the ANC Women's League in the names of her children. The party has also approached Parliament's Portfolio Committee to launch an inquiry into a raft of maladministration allegations within her department. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The DA's action comes just 2 weeks after Action SA approached the Cape Town Police Station to investigate Minister Sisisi Tolashe.
Has more.
The DA's action comes just 2 weeks after Action SA approached the Cape Town Police Station to investigate Minister Sisisi Tolashe for not declaring the donation of vehicles to Parliament. The DA says its complaints relate to the donated vehicles not being registered in the names of its rightful owners, and Tolashe's explanation to the ANC's Integrity Committee that she was trying to shield the party's assets from being attached. DA Deputy Chief Whip Baxolile Nodada believes this is blatant fraud.
We cannot, as members of Parliament and the